All right, ChaosAkuma. This is our
Light mode.
social.
Oh gosh.
Sorry,
So funny.
flashbang. This is our social media dive. So we usually start with the throne and seeing what's on
Uh-huh.
your throne, because this usually tells a lot about the streamer. So wait, you want a Final Fantasy 14 tarot deck? Wait, do you do tarot cards? Do you read tarot?
I bought I got actually I wanted a tarot deck. I was gifted a tarot deck. I was setting up for a hand cam streamer. I was going to open the deck. I haven't opened it yet. It's still sitting in the box. And I was hoping to open it and go through it with my community and learn how to read tarot because I've always wanted to and I've had the deck forever. But I haven't done it yet. And I was perusing through Etsy and I was adding things on my wish list that I had. I'm like, in case anyone ever feels like buying anything or whatever. And then I found that and I was like, there's no way.
There's
There's
no
no way.
way.
They had this really cool art print and I didn't realize it was part of a tarot deck. And it's
Hey.
gorgeous. And like I love Final Fantasy 14 a lot and it has characters like from the game and everything. It's really pretty. So I'm like, that's really
Mm.
cool.
Well, there you go. Chaos Crew, $40, and you
Oh my
guys
god.
can get a new interactivity and get an IRL tarot reading via Final Fantasy 14. Mayvox, 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 are you there? There is a Final Fantasy tarot deck. Check it out. Check it out.
I think the actual thing is like the shop is like
Hey,
closed right now for
Grogden.
Christmas, but it's really pretty.
Those
They have lots of cool
those
art.
are pretty cool. Hey Grogden, thank you for $5 to Make a Wish International. After this social media dive, I will riz you up. Um,
Hell yeah.
okay, and then you have an extra large mouse pad of a skull. What drew you to this one?
Uh it's aesthetically it's my thing.
It's got Mount
Um
Fuji. It's got the Japanese cherry blossoms. It's got a blood moon and a crushed skull. Interesting.
yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and you want season? Have you fully watched season 1 and 2 of Arcane? Is that why you
Oh
want
yes.
this?
Yep. I love it. It's so good. It's amazing. So
Mm.
yeah, a lot of the stuff on there is like things that I've had on my wish list for a hot minute. And I was like, I'll throw them up there if anyone wants to do anything with that, cool. If not, that's totally fine too. But it's like I just thought I'd have an option, just kind of an idea of like things that I like, I guess.
Yeah, I don't. I got rid of Netflix, so I've been wanting to watch Arcane, but I gotta figure out how to do it. Uh, wait, somebody made an Etsy of an actual letter from, or they made a remake of Mary's letter.
Yeah, and you can actually get. I was gonna get it and frame it at some point. I saw that and I was like, oh, that's so cool. You can get like an actual printed like the paper. It looks like it's all like folded and everything, and it comes folded. It actually looks like worn and everything like in the game. And I would love to get that and frame it on my wall because that is like a cool, really cool collector's item someone made.
Mm, okay, okay.
I'll play with my
Oh,
Final
and Beppo
Fantasy stuff.
asked, does it match the desk, keyboard and mouse? I think it's one of those mats that's big enough for both the keyboard and mouse, but I could be mistaken. Any comment?
Yeah, it's bigger. It's like a bigger one.
Mm,
I have a tiny mouse pad right now because my old desk pad kind of got damaged when I moved. So I was like, I'll throw this up there. Why not?
okay, and then you have a pyramid head? Is this like a 3D printed pyramid head? Or is this a
Uh,
collector's?
it's a collector's figure. So I don't know if you're familiar with Nendoroids, but
Mm,
Nendoroids are little like 10 centimeter figures that are tiny representations of characters from video games, anime, stuff like that. And they're very well crafted, very well painted and everything. They're collector's items, and the Pyramid Head one sold out on the official website, so you can't order it anymore. But for some reason on Throne, they are still available. So I kind of mostly bookmarked it there. So it's like when I have money, I'll just throw it down and get it because I'm just like I hadn't actually. I missed the chance to pre-order it, but apparently Throne has an option to get it. So
oh, nice. Or crowdfund it.
hmm.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
love Silent Hill a lot, especially Silent Hill 2. So I'm like slowly amassing a Silent Hill shrine. I have a music box that I got as a gift. I've got the games. I've got a bunch of other stuff as well. So
Geofracture Game says Nendoroids are cool, make Funko Pops look soulless.
Yeah, yeah, they're like 60 or $80 a piece, depending. I only have 3 or 4 of them, but they're very, very amazing, and I love them so much, and I cherish them. They're really cute. So
Mm, okay, and then a Goth skeleton backpack. What does this backpack speak to you?
uh, it's aesthetically pleasing, and none of the places I have over here sell cool stuff like that. Because I
Mm,
live further out from uh, I live in BC, so British Columbia, and
mm-hmm.
then there's Vancouver and such, but like I live really far off the beaten path from Vancouver, so it's like
Mm,
if I ever get to go there, it's like it's a very rare thing for me, and trying to buy anything cool does not really function out here.
I
They don't really
gotcha.
have really cool shops and stuff like that. So
Chunky. Chunky Gurgle is also one of my Canadian gatos, as well as Little Hollow. So they also echo that they remember when Tim Hortons was good. You remember that?
yeah, yeah, a long time ago. Sad.
Sag. Dual
Yeah.
monitor stand. Wait, you have 2 monitors already, and you'd love to have them off
Hmm.
the desk? Is that what's going on
Yeah.
here? It must
My
be tough
desk
being
is
Canadian.
like
True.
it's very long, but it's very narrow. It doesn't have much depth to it, so my current monitor stands take up half of my desk space, so I don't really have a lot of desk space. So if I can get those up, that's pretty cool. Eventually, at some point.
All right, and then is this stay hydrated? Is this specific to a creator you like, or is it just trying to motivate
No, it's
yourself to stay hydrated?
just a new bottle because my last one got damaged in the move. So
Oh, that sucks. That sucks.
that's okay.
Oh,
It happens.
you are a huge Arcane fan. This is the second Arcane thing on your. Did you ever play League?
I have a little bit, but I'm not really a big fan of it, unfortunately. It's very,
Mm.
very sweaty, and I got my butt kicked by the bots. So,
Mm.
but I love the story of Arcane, and I'm also a huge sucker for art books. Um, I used to I collect art books from games. Like Burning gifted me copies of the art books for Final Fantasy 14 for the later expansions, and the artwork is breathtaking. I haven't actually unsealed the ones that he sent me yet, but I love looking at behind the scenes arts of games and such, especially like
Mhm.
horror games. They have the coolest art ever, and like it's gorgeous to look at, and it's cool to also have like behind the scenes info on like how they make stuff like Arcane. So it's one of those things that's like I'd love to get it at some point, but again, not important. I always feel kind of ick about my throne because I'm like I have it there, but I also don't be like, hey, buy stuff for me. I don't. I'm not really a fan, you know. Just,
Yep. And then you have 2 different gamer subs. Do you actually drink gamer subs? Do you buy and consume it?
yeah, I do. I used to be a partner with Rogue Energy. I ended up dropping out of their partnership program, voluntarily, of course, but I was trying to switch over to gamer subs, and I've found that it's a lot better, and
Mm-hmm.
it's also a lot more cost effective because living in Canada means that everything costs a lot more, and it got to the point where shipping would cost like $50 or $60. If I bought like anything from them, it was like it cost almost as much for the product as it was for shipping.
Ouch.
So gamer stuff's been a lot better, and it's been a lot more cost effective, and it doesn't take 3 weeks to get here, so it's nice.
Oh,
I'm
they have
liking
the
it so far.
Canadian branch. Okay. Okay. And then is it the flavor? Dragon fruit got you. And then, wait, what is brand risk? Is this a creator? Or do you just like.
Uh, I think both of them were inspired by VTubers. I'm not totally sure which ones, but I know the
Mm,
flavors are really good. Brand Risk is like almost like it's like a peach tea flavor, like iced tea kind of, but
oh,
like peach
okay.
flavor.
Nice. Very cool. And then dragon
Mm,
fruit, obviously dragon fruit.
yeah.
Limited edition art, 1 in 10 chance. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I did buy Moist Critical's waifu cup, which came with a couple of samples of gamer subs. I will say it's good. It's delicious, and it does have a fuck ton of energy. I drank I did one pack one time without realizing. Brand risk is Wubby. Wait, that's a Wubby waifu?
Yeah.
Damn. Wubby's never looked hotter. But yes, I drank one of those packs. They give you little individual sample packs, and I drank it not knowing that it was an energy drink. And I was like, I finished it, and I was like, wait, is this an energy drink? And they're like, Gato, do you not know? They're like, GG's, man, it's over. And then like later in the stream, I was like, I can feel my skin. I feel it on my body. I can feel it move. I was just like so cracked out. So use with caution. Maybe like until you understand how it affects you, do not go full bore with the gamer subs. I will say. Yeah, I was tripping
Yeah.
balls, dude. Jorm, I was cracked out. Very cool. So that is ChaosAkuma's Throne. So if you Chaos crew members or even got those, if you guys are interested, I recommend just, it's nice as a streamer to just get a gift of appreciation. Uh, like it's hard for us to want anything or like be like, please, please, please buy me. We don't like being e-beggars, even though we're categorized as e-beggars. But it does motivate us to keep going if we get a random gift of appreciation. So yeah, check out her Throne and consider getting something. Pink sauce also used with caution. Oh, don't remind me. Did you hear about the pink
Oh,
sauce craze?
pink sauce. No, I have not.
Oh yeah. So pink sauce was um a creation by a TikTok creator who didn't understand anything about, shipping food across state lines. So she ended up
Oh no.
creating a product that ended up getting spoiled by the time it got to people. It was literally shipping people botulism. Um, and my community, like she rebranded, she restarted as a dry ingredient only cottage seller, and my community paid to have me get pink sauce. I was like, oh, it's dry ingredients. So I was like, I just have to add all the wet ingredients. It's got to be safe. No, I got food poisoning. I was I
Oh
was
god.
I was on the porcelain throne for 3 days straight. Like, I do not recommend it. Okay, well, I'm gonna subscribe anyways. It looks like your YouTube channel you are considering ramping up. You have no videos yet. You did talk about potentially streaming on YouTube in the future.
Oh, thank you for the subscription. I appreciate it. I had to get all my VODs and everything on there at the very least.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to consider uh putting work into it. So, I hope you did the streamer thing as well. It looks like you also have a TikTok. You
Yep,
claimed the
I have
name.
TikTok.
You claimed the name. I'm gonna follow you on TikTok. Oh, I'm gonna have to follow you on my other browser where I'm logged in. I will tell you with the clipped feature, you can connect your TikTok to your Twitch account, and if people make clips, it's never been easier to make a clip become a TikTok. So I'll give you that bit of advice. That's a quick way you can get TikTok content out there on that platform. So there's her TikTok, everybody. All right. Oh, tell me about, you're part of a stream team? Tell me about your team.
Yeah.
Ghosts in the
Ghosts in the mainframe. Yeah. My first friend that I met on Twitch, Spooky Cat Kevin. He's cat streamer, well, cat VTuber, and I met him, just randomly decided to raid somebody who was playing Dead by Daylight, and I found him, and I'm like, that's really awesome, and I raided him, and we've been friends since, pretty much since like day one, and he and I were hanging out one day. I was playing Overwatch. He sent me an welcome to the stream team message while I was in the middle of a game, and I died, and I was freaking out in the middle of the game, and I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, do you want to join the team? And I'm like, yes, of course I do. And the stream team, Ghost of the Mainframe, are a collection of horror streamers who play a lot of variety as well, and Dead by Daylight.
Mm.
And we try and focus on making a positive change in our communities and in those channels around us and everything. A lot of us would do a lot of charity stuff, although I haven't done any in a while. But I know my other creators, we all do different things. It's been a bit of a slow year for us because a lot of it's been dealing with stuff offline. We've had a couple people not around as much, but yeah, like we've got people in there that play Dead by Daylight like all the time and have a lot of activity with that. And yeah, it's been awesome. Like it was really cool because when I first started, they said that none of us had all, like the entire team had never gathered at all ever like the same time. And then within a week after I joined, I bugged everybody. I'm like, guys, we need to play a game together. We need to do the thing. It'd be great. And then it ended up we had the entire team hanging out. We all hung out in a Discord call and swapped out people to play Dead by Daylight together, and it was super fun. But we haven't
Mm.
unfortunately had the chance to do that since because everyone's on different schedules. Some people stream in the morning, some people stream super late at night, some people stream on weekends only when I'm at work, stuff like that. So
Okay.
it's cool though.
All right. So your team is focused on creating a positive atmosphere within the DBD community and having positive outlook on charities. You guys do it when you can. And so it looks like a bunch of like-minded people. Very cool. Also, Ghost of the Mainframe. Who came up with that team name?
That was Hexed, I believe. He's the team leader,
Thanks.
essentially. He's our fearless leader.
Nice, nice.
He and a couple people on the team, originally cam streamers. He doesn't do cam stuff as much anymore, but we all kind of are like a mixed bag of VTubers and cam streamers and stuff like that. So it's cool. But yeah, Hext is he's really cool. He's big lovable teddy bear leader of our team. It's great.
Cool. Alright, paste and go. And then this is your Insta. Your Insta. Let me share this with everybody so they could go check out your Insta. From there, I've picked out a couple things that I saw were kind of neat. It seems you've got one of a really cool pen, and it also looks like, damn, you got some badass looking nails.
Thank you.
Wait, somebody. Wait, did you buy this pen? This is your pen that looks like a syringe?
Yeah, I bought it from Spirit Halloween, and I was like, "This is the coolest
Oh,
pen ever,"
nice.
and I can't take it to work anymore because people were getting upset about it. So, uh, man, it's like they've never seen a syringe before, even just a fake one. But they saw the red and they're like, "No," and they started
No,
freaking out. So I decided not to bring it to work anymore.
I
I
gotcha.
work in customer service, and it freaked people out. So,
Yeah, I had a friend that had a pen that was covered all in black tape, and it was one of those like stripper pens that if you turned upside down, the clothing would fall off. And he
oh,
got in trouble for that one too. Even though they couldn't see it, everybody knew what was happening. Uh, how Smokescreen says, tell them vitamin B12 injections are red.
oh, really? Huh? Interesting.
That's probably better just to leave it at home.
Yeah, I've got it right here in front of me, actually, on my desk. I play with
That's
it
cool.
sometimes just for fun.
Cool. All right. Looks like you've got some really awesome latte art. What is going on here?
Yeah, so that was my friend, Lydia Nixia. She came up to visit recently. We met up in Vancouver, spent a couple days together. She told me about this place called Perfecto Cafe. And apparently, if you go there with your phone, you can scan an app and then upload an image and customize it to basically digitally scan it on top of foam on lattes and drinks and stuff.
That's cool as
So
fuck.
we got our emotes, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. I'm like, it's too cute to drink it. It was super neat. So it was like a bunch of photos of just our trip together in Vancouver. It was really fun.
Very cool. Um, and then tell us about this picture, because I think this tells a pretty cool story.
It's good for the thing to switch over.
It
See.
looks like two cell phones side by
Ah,
side.
yeah. Yeah, so that is Leah, Nixia, and I hanging out in Vancouver. Every time we see VTubers meet up at like TwitchCon or conventions and stuff, they always stand around in a circle and they hold their phones out with their pictures on it, right? So before I even said anything, she already had the same idea, and she's like, "Let's do it. Let's take a photo." And I'm like, "Okay." So we got our photos. That's like a kind of a way of saying it's like, "Oh look, two VTubers met in person, offline. Isn't that crazy?" And that's how we wanted to kind of like announce to everyone, like, "Oh, by the way, guys, we got to meet up this weekend because we've been friends on Twitch for like 2 years now." And I was like, "Yeah." So it was really cool. It was really surreal.
Okay. All right, and it looks like you're like me. You also did the move to... Wait, sign in required? I can't just show your blue sky?
Wait, Blue Sky has lock-in thing now? Huh? Weird.
Oh no, it says this account has requested the user sign into the user profile. That's okay. That's okay.
Oh, okay.
I'll share it with you guys, don't worry. I'll get my scary display capture. Don't dox yourself, Kanto. Don't dox yourself. Don't dox yourself. You're so very good at doxing yourself. Don't dox yourself, Kanto. But I'll just go to your blue sky because you did like me. You transitioned. Also have a blue sky account. How you like a blue sky, by the way? What are your comments about?
It's pretty good. I like the fact I actually have more discoverability on Blue Sky than I do on Twitter
That is
and all
true.
that. Like I love
Yes.
Twitter a lot originally, but then I've hated it ever since Muskrat took over. And I've been progressively going through my Twitter and deleting a lot of my art off there and stuff like that. But Blue Sky is great. I just wish that it had some features. Like I like that on some profiles and stuff you have to sign in. And I like also how a lot of people just like connect peer to peer and like by interests and stuff, which is nice. So like your feed can be like what you want it to be, not just a bunch of ads and bots and random crap. So it's nice. I like it.
Oh, okay, okay. Ooh, I found a juicy thing on your blue sky. I share. You shared your chatter. Face and go. It seems like you hang out in multiple communities. It looks like you hang out in Spooky the Cat, Meow Pancakes, Saber Turtle,
Yeah.
Queen Pussycat, and your number one is, how do you say that streamer?
Thrin.
Thrin.
Thrin is on my stream team. So is Kevin, Spooky Cat Kevin. I can happily say that all those top channels are all my friends. I adore them all so much. So.
Oh wow. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Mostly hanging out in Death by Daylight, just chatting. Art, Silent Hill, and Beat Saber. You watch Beat Saber
Yeah.
content?
Yeah, my friend Queen Pussycat, she's a streamer from Japan, and she streams a lot of Beat Saber. And it's fun. You can go in there and request songs, and she'll just go ham. It's really fun.
Oh, is she like one of those like crazy good Beat Sabers, like slices everything?
Yeah, she's really good. It's really fun. We all try and pick songs that are like gonna throw her off her groove and see if she'll like make it or not. I just like playing songs that sound nice. Some people go in and play songs that are impossibly difficult, but you can like go on a site and pick one of the songs on like I think it's like Beast Saber or something, and like put the link in, request it, automatically goes through, and like she has like a 3D model and everything there too, so you can watch her play, and it's really fun. So it's a good time.
Alright, let me do paste and go here, and then this is your streamer profile. So you've done... Your community has put in 33.9, almost 34,000 hours of watch time. You've mostly done DBD, Final Fantasy, Resident Evil. Oh wait, you've done art content on stream?
Yeah, I used to do a lot of art streams, and I used to do a lot of streams of working on my PNG and like emotes and stuff like that, and channel art and everything. But I don't do it as much anymore. I don't really have as much time. So
I got you. And then you talked about Yakuza being an awesome game that you've really enjoyed doing. Okay. And then your top channel emote is that just your heart or is it a dark heart? What is that emote?
That's my heart emote, and chat loves using that one. Not just in my channel, other people's as well. It's really fun. So
Hmm. Cool. Cool. Let me see if there's one more awesome thing to check out from your blue sky or something that I think will be very fun. Um, hmm. Let's see here. Wait, okay, so all your posts have really good art. Did you, like, is this another, like, let me share this one. Because I just went to your main profile. Darn! Sorry.
it's
Oh
okay.
my god. Come on, Gato. You can do this. There we go. And then let me copy this. Did you make this? Or is this a community art piece?
Just waiting for it to load.
Yep, sorry.
Bit of a stream delay. Sorry. Oh, that. Oh, okay. No, that was actually a gift.
What? Your
Back.
community gives you art?
So a friend of mine did. Very dear friend of mine, my best friend, Borderline Gray. He and I met. I randomly raided him at like 3 in the morning on Twitch. I was playing DVD. I found someone that was streaming, and I'm like, I'm just gonna raid this dude. And I raided him, and then I think I freaked him out because like I came in with like 50 something people, and he's like, "What the hell?" And like he's just sitting there quietly playing, and I freaked him out. And like he and I, we became friends. He came back to my channel, joined my community, ended up volunteering to become one of my mods, and then we hung out offline a lot and became best friends.
Yeah,
And like,
that's a huge ass
yeah.
raid for somebody that's all there's just like, what do I do?
Yeah. So I freaked him out and everything, and we became friends. And he randomly messaged me one day, and he's like, "Hey, here." I'm like, "What?" And then he paid an artist to do an art piece for me. And at the time, I'm not sure it was because the incomplete reference sheet I had at the time, but I don't have horns, but it's like I love the artwork so much, and I used it for a lot, and it's amazing. Like he
Mm.
knew that I loved Higanbana, the red spire lilies, and like he knows that like a little bit about my character and everything, and we hang out like every day pretty much now. But
Mm.
he gifted that art to me, and I was like blown away because I love it so much. It's so pretty.
Yeah, that is a
And
nice piece. So yeah. Alright, well follow Chaos Akuma's Blue Sky. You'll see really cool art like that, and it's a good way to stay connected with Akuma as you've been enjoying Blue Sky more than Twitter as of late. Okay.
mhm.
But you do have a Twitter, so let me share that with everybody in the chat. And let me bring that up. That's where most people
Okay.
start sweating bullets.
No, can I give fair warning?
What's that?
Nothing bad. Just I will say that I went on a bit of a spree yesterday on Twitter, and not for a bad thing. Silent Hill 2 won a bunch of awards from the horror game awards, and I was so excited. I went really nuts, and I retweeted a lot of stuff and posted about it, and I was like freaking out about it. So, just fair warning, my entire Twitter is probably just a wall of just Silent Hill 2 right now. So, just think about
Okay,
that.
that's okay. Well, let's take a look at that. Okay, so it looks like Silent Hill 2
I'm very
won
passionate.
Best Soundtrack. They did have pretty slappy music in that game. Oh, that was, I will say it did. I did enjoy my playthrough. I don't know if I have the constitution to do another one. But oh, and then in the horror games, you also reposted that it got Game of the Year,
Mhm.
um, which I will agree it was quite the experience. It was worth the money if you've never played it before, never bought the game before. Welcome back, Chava. How are you? How are you? We are doing the social media dive with Chaos Akuma. Uh, very cool. I also
Welcome back.
saw How big of a Final Fantasy VII fan are you?
Moderate. I played the original a bit. I didn't actually beat it, but I also worked in a game store for a time, and I had to test copies, used copies of the original PS1 game. And I tell you, I can only stand loading up the game, the first disc, enough times before I get fed up with it. So I played the opening sequence, the opening bomber mission of Final Fantasy VII like a million times to test the game and see if it worked. And it's like, okay. So I played the remake all the way through multiple times. And I want to play it on the second part on stream as well. But I'm excited because it's coming out soon. So.
Very cool. Very cool.
Mm.
Makes sense. Pog game tester. uh, you also agreed that this man was robbed at the Gamer Awards. Who is this?
Oh, yeah.
Can you
That's Luke
explain?
Roberts. Luke
Who's
Roberts is the actor behind behind James Sunderland in Silent Hill 2 remake. He acted
Mm.
his ass off and he did an amazing job and he deserved so much love and he got shunted at the Game Awards. And I've been on a hate train for the Game Awards for the past couple of days because Silent Hill 2 was nominated in like 3 different categories and got none of them. And also didn't get put in the running for Game of the Year at all. And I'm still mad about that. But he won Best Performance at the Horror Game Awards, which is good because he got nominated for several awards like Golden Joysticks and everything, and he got no award wins apart from the Horror Game Awards.
All right, good night, Nepe and Grogden. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for
Night
hanging
night.
out there. I have a. Do you know how much of your viewership is an EU percentage?
I think I saw stats on my dashboard at one point. I think it was like 30% or something like that.
Yeah, I have quite the contingent of EU viewers, so I appreciate both Nepe and Grogden hanging out there in the EU. So it's gotta be super late for them. So they hung out as long as they possibly could. So I appreciate you guys. Pepe Hand snub. No, I didn't snub anyone, Jorm. I recognize them. Oh no, you're talking about the actors. That's right. That's right. All right. What is this? This is a spar between former twins. You guys are twins? Deadly Gamers VT and ChaosAkuma? What was going
So
on here?
there's a bit of background on that one. Is hi Raiders. Sorry, welcome in Raiders. Hello everybody. Welcome in.
Oh, who just
Um,
rated you? Who just rated you?
Valkyrie, my friend Valkyrie rated me.
Oh,
Hi
nice. Well,
Val. Hi everybody.
hey, welcome,
Oh
Raiders.
my god.
Welcome. We're checking out Chaos Akuma's socials, and I'm going through her Twitter, and she's sweating. She's sweating, but I'm gonna find something. What?
Also, hold on. I don't know if I'm seeing shared chat. Hold on. Is it still on? Hold on. Double check it. Ooh.
Oh, you
I'm
left
not
the stream
seeing.
together. You left the stream together. Okay, let me
Oh no!
invite you.
Oh no! Hold on. I can see your chat on your screen. Now
Okay.
on my screen, but
Let me invite you again.
sorry, one
It looks
second.
like you
Okay.
took off chaos underscore Akuma.
I think I closed the tab by mistake.
Alright, let's
Oops,
send an
sorry.
invite. Alright, I invited you again, top right. Accept it. We'll get the shared chat going again.
Welcome in the Raiders. How's it going?
I do appreciate you, Smokescreen. You just have a different sleep schedule than most EU people.
Oh man.
Oh, she's gonna mute while she deals with something. Okay, I'm gonna continue to look Gatos. I'm gonna continue to look at her Twitter. See what else we can find. Yep, I got my next one. I'm gonna get that queued up.
Okay, hold on. Where is the? Okay, I think I can get back into it. 1 second. Oh, I think I'm back in here. Hello.
And I think I need to push you. I need to push you back in. Okay, let me push the guest. Go on stream, push the cast, and then let me turn on shared chat again. Start sharing chat. There we go. There we go. Hello, Raiders.
Okay, so
Welcome
chat
back.
should be able to see each other.
Yeah, shared chat again. Okay. Alright, again, start from the beginning. Who is Deadly Games VT? And why is this a spar of former twins? Explain the lore.
So I, again, another person I randomly decided to raid on Twitch one day when I was playing Dead by Daylight. She was also playing Dead by Daylight, and at the time, she's changed her model recently since then. But she and I was like, yo, we're twins, basically, because we both have the same dark bluish hair. We had purple streaks on the front of our models. We had the same kind of personality. We both had horns, both had like same like color palettes pretty much. And when I first rated her, I was like, she looks just like me. What the hell? And we even like we act very similar and everything. And it was crazy. She's a tiefling. I'm an Akuma, and I'm like, it's crazy. We're basically the same person. We're twinsies, and like every month we get together on the 28th or so, and we collab. We play a game together, and we've been friends for so long. And then she recently changed her model, and she changed from a tiefling assassin to a tiefling alchemist. And so now her model looks more like her true tiefling self, and she has white hair now. She has the dark skin. She looks different, but at the same time, I'm just like, I told her it's like we're not twinsies anymore, though. And then she's like, no, we're sisters. I'm like, oh. So we've been really good
Oh,
friends for so long now, and I love her so much.
nice, nice,
But
nice.
Kane, who's actually part of Deadly's community that I met, and one of Deadly's friends became my friend, part of my community as well. And Kane makes models in was it oh crap, what's the program called? I forget what it's called. Vroid, I think it is.
Yep.
Made a model of me randomly, and then put me in a fighting game that he found on Itch. And so I got to have like a little combat session between me and Deadly. It was really cool.
Wait, you got put into a video game?
Yeah.
That's like low key. That's an awesome flex right there.
Right? I'm like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. I was freaking out when I saw it. I was losing my mind. I'm like, that's so cool. I actually have a video on YouTube. It's like an unlinked video I can probably send you if I can find it here, if you want to see it.
Sure. Yeah, send it to me. I'll bring it up so we can actually see it. Like, technically I'm in Stray, but that's that's not official. But
Stray is such a good game, though.
Stray
It's
is
so
such a
good.
good
I love
game.
it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Let's see. Search game. I gotta find it in my chat history. Hold on. Where is it?
And I'm gonna keep scrolling. Oh, I found something else. I found something else. Okay, let's go. What's that one? There we go. Okay, there's a lot of Silent Hill content on your Twitter. Like, a lot.
I warned you.
Well, we'll get there. We'll close the interview with Silent Hill. Let's do that. But let's keep going.
Let's see.
And Resident Evil. And Resident Evil.
Okay. Okay, got it. Got it.
Got it? Okay. All right, it's coming.
I'll send you a link
coming.
here. 1 second. I had to like dig it up out of my Twitter DMs. Hold on. Because I randomly got a message like, "Hey, Chaos, guess what?" And like I got sent pictures.
You heard
of
a video
model.
game, and you're like, "Wait, what?"
And then a YouTube link, and I'm like, "What? That's insane."
All right, I'll have this as a placeholder. There we go.
Right, yeah, this is like an unlisted video that I was sent, and I'm like, "There's no way." I saw it, and I started like crying. I'm like, "There's no way, dude. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen."
Yeah, community members are so talented. Like, okay. All right, let me go full screen.
Yeah, so that was what Debbie looked like before she changed her appearance. So kind of tell it would look kind of similar with their models and such. But
Buzzer's hype. They need to port it to Unreal Engine. This looks good. This looks fun though. I would love to like battle as a
Right?
V-Roid character.
That was the coolest thing ever. I was like, this is like a dream of mine because there's a couple goals or a couple things I had in mind that like if I ever got to reach that as a VTuber, I'm like that's amazing. And one of those would be being in a fighting game or having like a cameo character or something like that. Because like I am huge into fighting. I have multiple weapons. I love that kind of thing. Like it's my thing. It's my aesthetic and everything, and it's a lot of fun.
Wait, you're into fighting IRL? Like you train fighting, or you just?
I've taken martial arts for years. Yeah, I've also done weapons training
Oh.
and stuff too. But yeah, I've been like as a VTuber, like I love like different weapons and stuff like that, like blades and everything especially. So it's just a test and everything on like this Vroid game, I guess, or this game that off itch.io, this free game that like you can put Vroid models into. And even then, it's really cool. And I was like, that's so freaking neat.
I mean, this is pretty good, Cat Dude. I will agree. It could be smoother, but at the same time, this is, you know, some amateur dev who's just making a game for fun.
It's the
This
coolest
is
thing
such a
ever, though.
W, yeah.
Yeah, it's super neat. I was super excited about it, and I was like, no way. And he also gave me the model, so if I decide to use the model for anything,
Hey, you can bring
I
the
can.
model in the Miicoverse.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, VRMs are like easy to get in, or Vroid models are very easy to get in, because you can just export it as a VRM and load it directly.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, join us, one of us, one of us, one of us.
Well, earlier when you were talking about the getting a 3D model made, I kind of just was like, oh, I kind of have
I already have
one.
one,
I
yeah.
skipped in one.
Nice, that's cool. Well, you have a awesome community that did something really cool.
Yeah, I
Wow.
love it.
So battling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Violence.
How much did you like Endwalker? And am I going to enjoy my Final
I
Fantasy experience?
Okay. Final Fantasy for me, I love it so much. Um, I will say from the get-go, for those looking to play it or anything like that, the first base game, A Realm Reborn, is just an info dump. It's an info dump. It's like an exposition dump. So it's like it kind of feels like a lot coming at you, and a lot of people don't actually make or didn't actually make it past A Realm Reborn, like the base game, back in the day, and they thought it was boring and they thought it was this kind of meh, you know, like they want to get to the good stuff. And then like Heaven's Lord was good, and like Stormblood was a little bit different, but it was still good. And then Shadowbringers was the later expansion that I've started to actually pay attention to the story, and then I actually like really loved it. And then the Shadowbringers and Endwalker are like two sides of a coin. And if you play through Shadowbringers and Endwalker, like Shadowbringers is so separate from the rest of the game because it takes place elsewhere from where you're used to. And a lot of the characters that you know are out of the picture apart from a handful. And so you're kind of given almost like a fresh start kind of on the story a little bit. There is some stuff you need to know before you go into it. And I actually streamed it. I didn't stream any of the rest of the game. I just streamed Shadowbringers. I gave a really quick lore dump on the game so my community would know what it was, and I went through it really fast. And then we played through Shadowbringers, and a lot of people like really liked it, and then started getting into Final Fantasy as well. And yeah, like I love Shadowbringers, and Walker is fantastic. We still have to play through that on stream. I haven't done it yet, but I have not played it since it first came out because it is emotionally devastating, and I can't wait to put my community through that again.
Mm.
So it's very good.
All right.
Just the beginning part is very tough to get through, so just stick with it. It gets better, is all I'm going to say.
Jordan says ARR is boring as hell. ARR killed Burning Beard. Gorgeous God says skip the cutscenes. It's not as painful.
Don't skip the cutscenes, and if you say you skip cutscenes, Final Fantasy fans will find you and they'll end you. Don't do it. Don't.
It's a great game. Just push through AR. Bro, I don't know if I'll ever make it. I don't know if I'll make it, but I'll try. I'll try. Let's see here. I've played Final Fantasy 14 longer than you, lol.
Well, guess what? I watched every cutscene. Fight me.
Okay. And then Next cool thing I found. What
Hmm.
is this cake? What is this cake?
Hmm.
It just says birth
Wait, let
on
me
it.
see. Oh. Okay. All right. Okay. So my friend circle, one of them, one of them reads me and hangs out with me on a regular basis, and is Alpha Zero. I have a bunch of friends that I know and I've known for years, and every birthday we would send this cursed picture of a freaking cursed birthday cake to each other, and just his birth on it. It just freaks each other out, just like, hey, guess what, birth. It's really funny. Oh my god. But
Mm.
yeah, it's whenever someone celebrates a birthday, I tend to just throw that cake at them. I'm just like, here, have the
Oh,
cursed cake
the
image.
curse birth. Very cool. Very cool.
Have a good night, Nil. Nice to meet you. Thank you, thank you.
All right, Neil. Have a good
Sleep
one.
well.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. All right, and then. All right, let's. This has been the social media dive. I'm gonna transition this. I'm gonna add a stream marker. All right. Spoiler warning. I want to discuss Silent Hill with this Silent Hill guru because I did the one playthrough. I struggle bust my way through it. I was terrified the entire time. Wait, these are the OG models look terrible compared to the remake models.
They
Uh,
do. They've not aged the
they
best,
did not
you know.
age well at all. Holy fuck.
But it really lends to the team that made the game because they look so much better now, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, all right. Spoilers warnings. We're gonna have an open conversation about Silent Hill. So if you don't want spoilers, you might tab into another streamer or just kind of like take us down to 1%. Please lurk, please lurk. That always helps us with the average views. It helps us go up in the algo. But we are gonna talk potential spoilers. So spoiler warning.
Mhm.
All right. I got the Maria ending. A lot of
Okay.
people have been
Hmm.
shocked that I got that as my ending. Can you explain to me why? Why is that so unique as somebody for their first time playing through getting the Maria ending?
It's an interesting choice because I don't know if you know the mechanics of how you get the different
Nope.
endings.
Okay. Yeah, explain the mechanics.
There's
Explain the
yes,
mechanics.
there's three different endings you can get from the base game essentially, and then depending on what you do in the game, every interaction you have puts almost like a marker towards one of the endings that you'll get. And for the Maria ending, like it's I don't know, it's kind of a toss up because I know some people can get that. Uh, Usually they get the in water ending, which is typically the bad ending, and or they get the leave ending, which is the good ending. And then the Maria ending is meant to be
In the
I don't
middle?
know, kind of like almost like in the middle essentially, because it's meant to like tell the player that it's like the cycle will continue. That basically like history is going to repeat itself because
Yeah.
you've seen the ending.
Yeah.
So it's like
So,
it's almost like a like you didn't get the right ending or like you didn't necessarily get the outcome that you wanted because it just means that things are going to happen all over again.
yep.
So,
Oh, Little Hollow, welcome back. ChaosAkuma is from BC. So you have another Canadian friend in the chat. Little Hollow.
hello.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
noticed when I was leaving, with Maria, she had that cough, and I was like, wait, the fuck? That's the same cough my wife had. Like, oh shit, like she's sick too. It's totally gonna happen, like you said. I did
And the
think about that.
foreshadowing of James saying you better look after that cough, and he has like his tone changes when he says that. So it's like yeah, it's gonna history's gonna repeat itself. Like it's yeah, it's I don't know, it's like an in between ending. It's like you didn't really solve anything. You're kind of back where you started, kind of vibe.
And Jorm says the Maria ending just surprised us because Gato managed to land a woman. I have Riz. I have, I have lots of Riz. I hope you know. I get ladies. I get ladies.
Hmm. Hmm.
All right. Okay, what's the bad ending? Wait, you told me there's a bad ending that most people get?
Yeah, there's a bad ending. So it's the one that we call the in-water ending.
Okay.
And the in-water ending is spoilers. Well, at this point, spoilers are redundant. The in-water ending, you have James going back to his car, and he drives his car into the lake and drowns. And it's the
Just
bad ending of
suicides?
this, like, he didn't. Yeah, it's the bad ending. So it's like he dies, and it's like all that basically made him realize that it's like he was depressed, and the idea was that he came to Silent Hill, and that's what he came there to do, was to end his life because of what happened and everything. Um, and it's really sad, and it's really messed up, and it's the bad ending. And when I was playing on stream, everyone started playing funny music and the violin music, and I'm like, who did it? Who did that? As I'm like sitting there crying, listening to the ending dialogue. I'm like, you guys suck. Like the hell.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then yeah, there's a good ending and stuff. And like those are just 3 of the ones you can get. The rest you can get on like New Game Plus.
Wait,
And there's 2 new ones in the remake.
yeah, what's the good ending and what's the key mechanic to get that one?
So there's the good ending, which is the leave ending. The leave ending is essentially when James reads the letter that he got from his wife, and he makes the decision that rather than dwelling on what's happened, she essentially like forgives him, and as like she wants him to keep living. So she takes the letter to Laura, basically like explains what happens, and that she reads the letter too, and then she makes the decision to go with him. So the two of them leave Silent Hill together, alive and okay, essentially, because Mary's wish was to adopt Laura as her own daughter. So it's essentially what's it assumed that James leaves Silent Hill with Laura to adopt her, and they can like live happily outside of Silent Hill.
Wait, can you
That's
have
the happy ending.
crowd control in Silent Hill?
No, and I'm really glad you can't, because if you did, I know for a fact that everyone would ruin it. Everybody would ruin it. So in order to get the different endings, for the leave ending, you have to try and pay as much attention to your wife as you can. So like read the letter that you got, look at the picture of her multiple times. Pay as little attention to Maria as possible, because Maria is meant to be almost like a distraction, or like a way to like drag you in further to the darkness. So to get the Maria ending, you have to pay a lot of attention to Maria and essentially ignore your wife. So that ending dialogue when you're running down the hallway and listening to the conversation between James and Mary, you had to essentially like ignore her and be like, she doesn't matter, and you focus more on Maria than you do on your wife. And that actually tells the game, it's like, yeah, you don't care about your wife, you just want Maria, who's meant to be like the distraction
Oh
and the
shit.
wife that you wanted to have but didn't have.
Damn, that's right.
Mhm.
Because I checked on Maria multiple times when she was laying down in the bed incapacitated.
Yep,
Um,
that do it.
did it. Wow. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
And then the in water ending, if you want to know how that one's done, that's more of the darker endings, but essentially you have to entire playthrough like make sure you don't heal James, stay at low health. So playing very risky and playing like almost like you don't have any sense of self, like not self-worth, but like have any way of like self-preservation, I guess. Um if you're at low health the whole playthrough, and then you take that knife from Angela and you like look at it a couple times, it'll basically give James like the look that it's like he doesn't care about his own life and he doesn't care what happens to him. And then by the end of the game, that's when he decides to just go through with what he came to do. So
I
it's a dark
just
ending for sure.
I just realized that Maria finds her old outfit in the hotel room. Was like, hey, check
Yeah.
out this outfit. And then it's like, oh shit. It's just her like making an inside joke to what she wore in the original.
Hmm.
Okay.
Also, hi, little Hollow. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Welcome to the Chaos Crew.
Yeah.
But it's, yeah, I got really angry at that actually, because I was so pissed when they originally showed the info for Silent Hill 2 Remake. I was like, why does Maria look like a saleswoman trying to sell me real estate? Why does she not look like she did before? Like she's supposed to be an exotic dancer, but also like she kind of has this like haggard stripper kind of appeal to her, where it's like she's like more sexy and seductive and everything else, but it's like also she's just like on like the nitty gritty side of things, and she looks like a little more like she looked a little bit too cleaned up and too like different in the remake. And then when I started playing the remake, I'm like, no, you know, I like the change better. But putting that costume in there made me so mad because I'm like, don't they have an option to put it on something? And there was nothing. And I'm like, man, that sucked. But I like her new outfit a lot better now, actually.
Yep. Yep, there are lots of nods to the original game hidden, says Jorm. Okay. Now that you can speak freely, why does Maria resonate so well with you? You said without spoilers, so now go ham. Tell us why Maria's your favorite.
So, in the original game, there's a DLC that came out called Born from a Wish, and it was essentially where you play as Maria and you get a little bit of context as to who Maria is as a character and why she's there. And you have the understanding or the idea that she was someone who was born from a wish. She was basically created by the town of Silent Hill to serve as almost a distraction and or a lure for James to become like to face what he's done. And so she serves as like I said, like in the original game, she's kind of like predatory almost. She looks like she's like she makes funny jokes at him and stuff like that, and like she tries to like poke at him, but she also tries to like seduce him so many times and mislead him from what he's trying to do and everything and distract him. But also just like she has this vibe that it's like, you know, she's trying to like gaslight him, you know, she's trying to like manipulate him, but it's like you don't really pick up on it until like a certain point. And I love Maria because like on the one hand it's like, yeah, she does come off as someone who's fierce, someone who has her own thing going on. In the remake they make her a lot more timid, I guess, from the exterior, but then as you meet her later on and stuff like that, like you can kind of see that veil fall away. And that conversation they have in the prison is like, it gets me every time because it's just like you can kind of see her shift from that person that you think is helpless to someone who actually has an ulterior motive. And it's like that kind of vibe that she has of just like having this this other motive to her and everything. And like she seems dangerous, but also she comes in a package where she is very pretty and you think like, oh, she's unassuming, but she actually has a lot of depth to her and a lot more going on behind like the what you see. And that's one thing I love a lot, and that's one thing I kind of try and go for with my own appearance and everything as well, and my own like character too is the same kind of vibe of just like it's all bright colors and smiling, but beneath the surface you never know what's there, and that's really cool to me. I don't know.
All right. Oh,
So it's very
Royce.
pretty.
Welcome, Royce. I am interviewing ChaosAkuma, a horror game streamer who is big time into the Silent Hill and the Resident Evil lore, as well as a very skilled D player. That's my daylight. I was collabing with Rory's earlier. We were playing Phasmo, so if you want to join the Phasmo community that we play, you're always welcome to join us. We're always looking for more people to play Phasmo with, as well as other community games. That clip, yes, Rory's, yes. Can you explain the chubby guy? Like Eddie, yes. His role in the story? Because I was just more confused about him being there. Like he goes and the fight with him was very difficult for me because I guess I haven't calibrated my monitor, so it was extremely dark, so I couldn't see shit. He's extremely tanky in that fight. But yeah, can you explain Eddie to me? Because I just didn't understand how he fit in the story.
Okay. I had to like try and narrow this down without going on a rant for like an hour. Okay. So Eddie is one of the 3 characters that are brought to Silent Hill for various reasons. Eddie originally was there, and he brings this up multiple times in conversations and comments that he essentially was on the run. He did something terrible, killed a dog, arrived in Silent Hill, and he was in hiding from someone who was after him and everything. That he shot someone in the leg, and then he committed all these crimes, and he was in hiding in Silent Hill until things died down. Essentially, he was running from his own problems and mistakes that he made. So when he got to Silent Hill, came across James and everything, and like Laura was there, and he talked to Laura too, and his whole thing was that he has so many insecurities and he has so much going on that he lashes out, and his discovery and like his descent into madness by the end is driven by his own mistakes and blaming others for things that he's done and rationalizing everything that he's done, be it good or bad. And it's like it's the angry, almost like vengeful side of someone who's been bullied and treated like crap and just wants to basically get revenge or get even with the people around him. So you have three characters. You have James, you have Angela, and you have uh, Eddie. And Eddie is meant to serve as the more like the angry counterpart, or like the one that's like the descent into madness character that ultimately lets his own like insanity kind of take him by the end.
Yeah, it was his
So
paranoia, like that he was just like, oh, well, I killed that person and now I'm gonna have to kill you type of thing.
yeah, yeah. And
Okay.
like he's on like like hairline trigger by the end. So as soon as like James says like you can't shoot people just because of the way they looked at you and stuff, like you can already tell that Eddie's unhinged.
Mm-hmm.
And there's more I can say about that, but I also don't want to go on a rant for an hour, so I won't. But
I'll give Pugsley a 6-shooter. True. Yeah, true. Um.
yeah,
All right, and I can't remember her name. The girl in the brown pants and the sweater.
that's Angela.
Angela.
Angela, yeah, she's dealing with her own issues there.
Yeah, can you
Her
kind of
story is the toughest.
over was she I was picking up was she an abused child? Is that what was going on?
Yeah, Angela's story is the toughest in the game to handle, and that was one reason why everyone was worried that the remake would not be good because Bloober historically had been terrible at dealing with stories, dealing with difficult topics such as like SA and abuse and people that were victims and everything. So Angela's story is that she essentially is going to Silent Hill looking for her father and her brother, and her mama and sorry, her mother, and she essentially goes running around looking for them. And you can tell by her disposition that she is dealing with something, that she is either hiding from something or she's very very timid, very very quiet. But she goes through the story, and you can see the remake actually shows this better, but you can see how she's dealing with things, and you can kind of see a version of her hell that she's dealing with. Um, so she was abused as a child. She was treated terribly by her father and everything. And the context clues they give you with the newspaper and everything else throughout the game is that she essentially killed her father and her brother, and she was going there to find her mother, and she didn't end up finding her mother. But it's really sad because of the way that like her life and everything, the way she was treated, and you can tell by certain points she has the knife in her hand and she's like contemplating it, but she doesn't really quite go through with it, and you can tell that she's got a lot going on in the way she processes it. But also in the remake, she clocks James a lot because she'll say things like, "Oh, you never loved Mary anyway," and stuff like that, and she kind of like reads him like a book. And it's cool because like Angela, honestly, out of all the characters there, is probably the one character who sees the most clearly when it comes to James. So like she just like straight up just tells him to his face, just like he messed up and everything, and like she knows like the kind of man that he is. And it's really cool because like at first you think it's just because she's delirious and she's like dealing with her own things and she lashes out, but she's literally like she can see right through him.
Mm,
It's really cool.
okay.
So it's also really sad. Her story is really really sad, and I think they handled it with grace in the remake because they gave a lot more context to it as well, and like the acting is really good and everything. So
She knows men too well, not her, says Rory's. True. Uh oh, Treasure Pile wants to know, did you enjoy the Silent Hill movie? And do you feel it did the game justice?
yes, I will say there's two Silent Hill movies. So here we go. Burning, I won't stop. I won't go on a rant. It's fine. Silent Hill the movie, the first one,
I mean, we got all
is a
night. As
culmination.
long as you want to go, I'll go. Like,
It's a culmination of the first game, but they reversed the roles. So instead of a father looking for his daughter, it's a mother looking for her daughter, and the whole story is like a take on femininity, femininity, women surviving a horrible place. And she goes through everything to save her daughter. And I think it's really good because it plays music from the first game and the second game. It also has a lot of things in there that are from the game. Like when I first played Silent Hill 1, it was actually recently that I played the game all the way through. And I didn't
mm,
realize that some of the camera angles from the movie were taken directly from the game, like the first one. And
that's
I'm like,
cool.
that's crazy. And like It's so cool. Like the monsters and stuff were from the movies or from the games. Pyramid Head had no reason to be there, but other than that, it's fine. But it's really well done, and I like it a lot. It was actually what got me into the series of Silent Hill in the first place because I thought the music was great and I didn't know what was going on, but I wanted to know more. And so I sought out the series and then I got addicted to it. But the second movie is awful, and I don't talk about it because it's bad. It's not good. So we'll see if the new one is any better because apparently the new one is done by the same creator as the first one. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it's not terrible, but James looks like a Christian rocker, so I don't know how it's gonna go.
Rory says, I hated the Silent Hill movie when it came out because I played the games, but I kind of like it now. Beppo says, are there? Watched the movie a few weeks ago in Miles' Discord after I had looked it up, and it says there's a second movie coming out in Q3 2025. Wait, there's a new movie coming out?
Yeah, so there was originally Silent Hill 1, the movie. There was Silent Hill Revelations 3D, which they tried to adapt the third game. I don't even have enough time in the week to tell you how bad the second movie is because of how mad I am at it. But long story short, they tried to adapt the third game. They did a terrible job. The budget was lower. The acting was terrible. They changed the characters so much they were unrecognizable. And they also, at the end, they tried to basically like prelude or like whatever, or lead to 3 different spin-offs. They tried to make it they had characters and things appear from 3 other Silent Hill games to try and allude to what the next one might be. It could be one of those games that adapted. And I left the theater and yelled, and I was really angry when I watched it. But there's a new one coming out called Return to Silent Hill, and that one's supposed to follow up Silent Hill 2. So it's supposed to be like an adaptation of Silent Hill 2. And they're copying Maria from the game almost entirely, except for her wig, from what I've seen so far. And James does not look like James Sunderland at all. He looks like a Christian rocker. And I don't know how it's going to go, but we'll see, I guess.
Alright, oh, Mega Mocap's here. This is my friend. I'm shutting him out now, but this is the one that wants to play Silent Hill with 6 degrees of freedom. I don't know how he stomached playing it in VR. Like, I don't know how you did that, Mega Mocap, even without the 6 stuff, but bro, I was terrified enough in just the regular pancake playthrough. Holy cow. Classic trying to make a cinematic universe before having a good idea of what the cinematic universe is supposed to be. I am the monster now. True, make one. Alright, and then Lil Hollow says, ChaosAkuma. What? You didn't like what they did in the second KEKW? What was wrong with it? It's as if not clear, that's sarcasm.
A lot.
Oh, okay.
I saw that Beppo mentioned Pyramid Head, though. Pyramid Head is only supposed to exist in Silent Hill 2 because he's a monster that's created specifically for James. But they shoehorned him in everywhere else because it's like Pikachu. They wanted to have a mascot, even though he doesn't fit anywhere.
Oh, yeah. Wait, go into that. Why is Pyramid Head only in Silent Hill 2, and why is he created for James?
Okay. Roll up my sleeves here. So, Pyramid Head is a manifestation of James's guilt and is meant to act as a punisher and someone who pushes James towards facing the truth of what he did and what happened. He was created specifically for Silent Hill 2, and Masahiro Ito, who created Pyramid Head, had him specifically designed for that game and that game only. And so for Pyramid Head to exist anywhere else other than Silent Hill 2 makes no sense. And while in some cases, like Dead by Daylight, it can be, shrugged off because James is in Dead by Daylight, and they include characters from 1, 2, and 3, it's not canon for him to be anywhere else. And it got to the point where people, like, sexualized him to the point where Masahiro Ito is like, I wish I never created him because people just use him too much. But he's meant to be James's tormentor, his judge, executioner, and it doesn't make sense for him to be anyone else.
Right. So Pyramid Head's in Death by Daylight. Was that just like Fortnite does DLC character type of things?
There was a Silent Hill 2 DLC that came out for Dead by Daylight, and funny enough, that was one of the ones I was most excited about, was because they introduced Heather as a survivor, who is the main character of Silent Hill 3. Pyramid Head, who is the antagonist and the killer of Silent Hill 2, and Midwich Elementary, which is the school level and is one of the maps you go to in Silent Hill 1. So they included characters and places from all three of the main games, like the beginning games, and then they also released Maria and James and Sybil and characters from other games later on as skins that you can get.
Okay, they're just skins. They're not part of the universe. Part of the
Well,
DVD.
they are.
They are?
Yeah, like I can play as Maria or James in Dead by Daylight, but Dead by Daylight's also like one of those games where it's like Fortnite kind of like characters and monsters from different realms like find their way into Dead by Daylight's realm, kind of thing. So that's why they're in there.
Oh, it's very loosely connected. Okay. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
Mega Mocap says, well, they should have made him dummy thick then. That's true. He was pretty
They
fit.
did make him dummy thick. That's the problem. When they first released Pyramid Head, he had a skin where it showed his apron was torn all the way up to his hip on the one side, so you could see his butt. You could see like his butt cheek and like his whole leg, and like he was dummy thick. He had a big cake for days. It was glorious. And then DVD decided to be funny to go ahead and nerf his butt.
No,
They
nerfed his
flattened
butt. The
and they shaved it
humanity.
all the way, and
The
I'm like, no.
humanity. Humanity
Yeah.
got cake. True. True. Okay. And then, the little girl. Can you explain her role in the Silent Hill universe to me?
So Laura was there, and by canon discussion, she was someone who was in Silent Hill, and this is like a whole thing on its own too. Is she was in Silent Hill, and to her, she was just visiting the town. You know, there was nothing different, nothing odd, no monsters, no darkness, no other world, nothing. You know, it was just a normal place for her, because every character has their own perception of Silent Hill. The town changes based on your psyche and based on who you are and what demons you have. So James, as he saw the town, the way that everything changed over time, like the scenery around him changed, was because of his own guilt and his own mental state. And then like Angela, you have everything around her is on fire at all times. So at the very end where you see her in the hallway with the fire, that's her the entire game. That's all she sees around her is fire. And that's why she's always running. That's why she's always like kind of afraid. That's why it's going on. It's all around her all the time. And then with Eddie in the freezer, you saw how like several times throughout the game when he talks to James, especially in the movie theater, when he puts down the bottle, the thing of the tub of ice cream, you can see cold air coming out of his mouth, like vapor, like as if he was in a freezer, but it's not cold. That's because all around him, it's all ice, it's all cold, it's he's stuck in that cold world. Angela's stuck in that hot world, and then James's reality keeps changing based on the town. But Laura doesn't have any of that, so Laura's just running around like, what do you mean? Like everything's fine for me. She's doing her thing, and she's trying to find that letter for Mary and everything, and she knew Mary from before. So she's
Right.
there to serve almost like a an olive branch, I suppose, for James, for like what happened with Mary and everything. And then James can choose to go with Laura and everything at the end, or he could not, depending on his choices.
Wait, how did she know Mary before?
She met Mary when Mary was sick and
At the
in
hospital?
hospice. Yeah, because she said that like she met Mary and she knew Mary like about a year or so before, but then James like, there's no way you could have because like Mary died. But then when you find out the whole story, it's like, oh well, you know, actually, Mary died recently, and it's very possible and very true that like Mary and Laura met.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, no, like, wait, how did you pick up all these lore pieces? Did you watch YouTube videos? Did you read things? Like, is it just like is a culmination of playing the game for so many years?
Culmination of playing the game a lot, and then also, yeah, YouTube videos, analysis. One of the cool things about Silent Hill is that everything is symbolism. Everything has a second meaning, especially Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2, everything has a place, everything has a meaning. Nothing is accidental, nothing. Like, you could look at, like, a wrench and be like, wow, that wrench is just sitting on a table. That's wild. No, that wrench has lore. That wrench has a purpose. There's a reason why that wrench is there. And if you play the game enough, you'll find out why. So it's one of those things where it's like, there's a lot of things that, yeah, like in the game, there's a lot of stuff. You kind of connect the dots. The more you play it, the more you think about it, the more you understand. So
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, because I thought it was like a purgatory. Like James had gone in, and at moments it becomes hell, and then at moments it becomes like normal. So I called it like a nightmare realm versus the regular realm. So is this town actually abandoned? And is there really smoke or ash raining down?
So it depends on each town. Difference being that Silent Hill 2's Silent Hill, it's like one of the sayings from the movie is that every Silent Hill is different for every person that goes to it. Everyone has a different Silent Hill because it's their own personal hell to navigate.
Mm.
So in the first game, you have you have Harry Mason's Silent Hill that has like the snow and everything. In the movie, they say it's ashes, but it's actually snow in the first movie. Just stuff like that got changed, but James's thing is that it's like he goes to a town that's empty and everything's covered in mist. And the reason the mist and the fog is so thick is because he goes there not knowing what happened, because essentially at the beginning of the game, he has that mental break where he doesn't remember why he's there. He has completely like shunted out everything that would happen to Mary and everything. And like he goes there wondering like, oh, where's my wife? And he doesn't realize where he is. He doesn't realize what's going on. And he has to navigate and go through that fog to find out the truth. And only by the end does he like all the fog is gone. He realizes the truth, and then by that point it's too late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh,
So
Jorm had a question. I'm sorry, I missed it. Do you
no
think the
worries.
stuff that happened, or the stuff that James experienced, actually happened to him, or was it all in his head?
I I think it actually is true, and then it all happened to him. And one reason why I know this, and one reason why I believe this, is because the original devs of the game, Masahiro Ito and several others, they were talking about how all the endings were canon. All the endings in the game, like every single one, like the Leave ending, the In Water ending, the Maria ending, all of those ones are canon. There isn't one particular one that is canon and one that isn't. They're all true. All of them. They'll exist and they all can exist at the same time. And this is where people get really weird about it, because there's a whole thing called the loop theory, and I don't know if you know about this.
Mm-mm.
It kind of
Nope.
cracks the lid off of the remake a little bit, because in the original they touched upon this a little bit. In the original, they said that all the endings were were canon, and all of them had actually happened. And so when you get to the original, there's little bits and pieces here that kind of hint to it. But the loop theory is that James is in Silent Hill, and it's a loop. Every time he gets an ending, he starts right back in that place again at the very beginning. He starts back in that bathroom and doesn't remember any of it, and goes through it all again and again and again, trying to get the right ending, the right end of his story. And he doesn't get it. And in the remake, they add to it a lot, but all the corpses and the random bodies you find on the grounds, those are all James. All the notes on the grounds, those are all things that were
What
written
the fuck?
by him in previous iterations that tried to get out. Yeah. And like there's several things in the remake that they just took that theory, they took that like not even a theory, they took that like entire idea and ran out the window like with it. So you have like all the endings and everything is canon of James trying to get out of Silent Hill and everything, and going through and trying to find Mary, and it's like every ending is him coming to different conclusions and different endings, but it's just a loop. He just keeps going through it over and over and over and over again, and he can't escape
Actually,
it.
I was actually thinking that exact same thing when I was playing it, because yeah, you're right. You figure out that they joke, they kind of laugh at him, that they're like, oh, let's see like if he's actually gonna make it to the top floor this time, or let's like it's just like, yeah, you could tell that he was leaving notes to himself. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Mega Mocap asks, "What is the dog ending canon?" I don't know what he's referring to. What's the dog ending?
Yep, it's canon.
What is the dog ending?
That so the dog ending is one that you can get. It's a joke ending, more or less. There's 3 different joke endings, or no, sorry, two, three. I can't remember the moment. 2 different joke endings. Sorry. The dog ending is essentially where James, instead of going to go watch the videotape in his hotel room, he actually goes out a different door, and he opens the door, and inside you have this giant computer, and this dog, this little dog, pressing buttons and stuff on it and doing all these different switches and everything. And he's like, it was you all along, implying that the dog was the one controlling the entire thing the entire time and controlled all the events of the game. And it was this little Shiba named Mira.
Wait, how do
And
you
it was a
unlock
dog.
that ending?
It's there's 2 parts of a key in the remake you have to find, and once you find those 2 pieces, you assemble the key. At the end, rather than going into the final room to watch the videotape, you actually take a right and go to the observation room, which is a room that's locked that you don't have a key for otherwise. If you go in there, then you get the ending.
That's insane.
yeah, there's multiple endings.
Wow.
Mm.
This has to prove that. I mean, this has to prove that this has to be one of the goats in horror. Like the amount of
Keep in mind
work.
that almost all of this was originally in the original game as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in there. Yep. What ending did everyone get the first? I got the Maria ending. Which ending did you get your first playthrough? Do you remember?
In both the original, no, sorry, in the original when I played the first Silent Hill 2, I got the in water ending my first time, which was
Oof.
the bad ending,
Okay.
and I cried my eyes out. When I played the remake, the first ending I got was the leave ending, and it was kind of intentional because I kind of knew what I had to do to get the ending, and I was like, I try to ignore Maria as much as possible, and even though I'm just like, man, she's really cool though, but I'm like, no, I want to try and get the good ending this time, so I did.
Mm.
I think I have all the endings apart from 3 at this point because I've been replaying it, trying to get every achievement and trying to get every ending.
Wow.
Mm.
How many hours would you estimate you've put into this game?
Estimate. I can't just pull up my Steam and look.
Well, yeah, but then you have the original, right? Like,
Yeah.
completionist, nice. Yep.
The original, couple hundred hours at least, because the gameplay altogether, it's like if you're playing it at like a steady pace, you could probably beat the whole thing in like 6 to 7 hours if you're taking your time with it. If you're trying to rush through it, I've seen speedrunners beat the game like 32 minutes before with skips and stuff.
The fuck?
yeah. Otherwise, the remake, my first playthrough, it took me about like 26 hours to sort of beat it, but that's because I took my time. I was playing with my friend Borderline Gray. We were both in a Discord call, and we ended up playing through simultaneously and going through the whole story together. And we took our time. We stopped and like admired the music and the scenery and the little moments here and there and the throwbacks to the original and stuff like that. Which the remake does. There's several moments where it's like it shows you stuff from the original, like, hey, remember this thing? And you're like, oh, it's that thing. And so I took my time. But I think I have 60 or something hours in the remake so far. I just haven't had time to play it. I'm so busy all the time.
I sucked. My one playthrough, 37 hours.
Well, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Alright, what is with the town? Like, what? Was it a cult town? Like, can you explain the lore of the Silent Hill town itself?
So, the story from the original Silent Hill places that it is a town that it was essentially a native place before people came in,
Native
took it
American,
over.
right? Okay.
Usual thing. Stolen lands. It became like almost like a cursed place on its own, and there was a cult that was there. In the original game, you have Alessa Gillespie, who with her power and everything like that cursed the town, or like had her power in the town that had a will of its own. And without going in too much into Silent Hill 1 lore, because like it's kind of muddy between the movies and the games and everything, Silent Hill on its own has its own power and its own like it changes people that go there, because it's like it's meant to be a place where it's like you go and you face your demons, you go and you face your personal hell, and the town reflects whatever you're dealing with, and it uses that against you. Like it manifested Maria to mess with James by making her look exactly like how he wanted his wife to look, or how he hoped his wife would look or be. Like, instead, he had a very sick wife, and instead, the town like dangled Maria in front of her, or in front of him, just like, hey, look, here's a hot woman who's very confident and very sexual and very like outgoing and everything like that your wife wasn't, that he wanted. And so stuff like that happens where it's like, when Angela's running for her life in there and she's like being chased by Abstract Daddy, the entire thing is like the town uses her trauma against her. And she has to try and face her father, which is this horrific monster. So what James sees is a terrible monster that's trying to kill him and trying to kill her. But Angela, she sees her father, like as she remembers him. And so it's like it's different for everyone. And like with Eddie, how it's like he's fighting off all these like people, I guess, or like shooting these bodies and stuff, or people who are coming after him. It's just James's corpse over and over again. So it's like James sees corpses of him, like of like people that look like him or whatever, and then it's like he doesn't recognize it, but then Eddie might see somebody else entirely, like a random football guy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's different.
Yeah, because like they have the historic society in the game, and then they have the,
Mm-hmm.
like below it they have like a secret society meeting spot. Is there like
Mm-hmm.
a secret society within the Silent Hill Zone?
Yes, there is. There's a cult that was there originally, and it was like Cult of Valtail, and they had a bunch of different things going on. They tried to use, without going too much into Silent Hill 1, because this is all Silent Hill 1 lore, and like a lot of Silent Hill basis on Silent Hill 1, the game,
Mm-hmm.
is that they tried to essentially birth a god by terrible means and doing terrible things. And there's a lot of people that died in that town. There's a lot of things that happened in that town that like ended up just messing up a lot of it. A lot of people died, a lot of people left, things like that went missing, stuff like that. And it's just like it all ties down to what happened in Silent Hill 1, and just the town itself being like a wonderful little resort town, and then turning bad because of bad things that have happened there.
Yep.
So
Yep. Classic burial ground, true Indian burial ground, true charms.
mm.
Yeah, like at the prison they had the gallows, and like that trial
Yeah.
with the gallows
Mm-hmm.
was
Yeah.
was that real? Like, was that all in James' head, or did they actually have a yard to hang people? What are your thoughts?
That was very real from all the records and everything in the state in the actual prison. So it's like people that actually went there, and like that's how they had that prison and everything like that. How they treated the patients or the inmates and such. Pretty much all of it was meant to be canon and meant to have taken place. So it's like a lot of times when they have like prisons and stuff like that out in those rural areas and everything like that, they would have it where it's the death penalty, and everything was part of it. And the supposedly the stories of like the arsonist and like the kidnapper and all this other stuff are like meant to be like people that like inmates that had actually been there, but it's not confirmed like name like necessarily like all the names and stuff like that. But it's just like it's a lot of stuff that happened basically in that prison. But it's like it's under the assumption that like that prison actually did exist, and that prison actually was like legitimate. Same with all the other places and stuff, because like
Mm,
there's various areas in the game that you kind of question. It's like, is this real? Is it? And like the hospital, the apartments, the prison, they're all meant to be very real locations, as well as the Lakeview Hotel.
yep. Yeah, prison be crazy. True. Mega mocap. Mega. Um, were the nurses sexy in the first one? Or sorry, in the OG?
Hmm? The
Were the
nurses?
yeah? I was like, was it me or like the nurses like scary yet hot at the same time? Was it the same thing in the original?
So yeah, that goes into the lore of like the monsters and stuff in Silent Hill, because yeah, so Silent Hill 1's nurses and all that are different, but Silent Hill 2's are meant to look a lot more sexualized. They had the mini skirts, they had their like almost like chest popping out of their shirts. Um they're perceived by James as creatures that have manifested his sexual desires, things like that, like like repressed like feelings you might have towards women, things like that. And it's all different. Every monster has a purpose, every monster has a meaning, and it's usually manifested based on something that has that a lesson that James either has to learn or something that he's not dealing with, which is like the sexualized things with like the nurses. And like even Maria is like another thing that's like meant to like kind of like tease him or like kind of like point at him and like his insecurities and things.
Okay, so even like the two torso monsters sewn together,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what's your take on those?
The mannequins are partially, I believe it was partially it was like it was I'm trying to remember at the moment. It was same kind of deal with the sexual urges and frustrations, but also just a lot of them like legs.
Clearly,
No, it
James
was
is a
also
leg man.
it was also like I think the idea that the twisted image of like the fact that while his wife Mary was sick, he couldn't actually be with her physically. So it's like
Mm.
was the idea that it's just like if you focused on like you know um wanting to be with her and such that was essentially what he could focus on was like her lower half and just like focus out the rest that she was sick and focus on just the sexual urges that he had for her. And so it's like those monsters are meant to be like a reminder of that or like the point of that. But there was several other ones too, and like all the different monsters have different designs and everything. I don't remember lore on every single one of them off the top of my head, but the prominent ones I do.
Okay, what's
Because
like
it's a lot to
another
remember.
one? What's another one that you think has a prominent lore?
So there is the that's not a whole one. Trying to think. Uh
Because there's like the ones that like crawl on the ground and spit up, or just like the ones that look like the walk of shame, just walking around in the straight jackets.
oh man. Okay, hold on. My brain's blanking at the moment. Um oh my god.
Flying figures are basically sickos. Doesn't make them
Lying
work out.
figures, thank God. Okay. Oh man. So yeah, sorry, brain. Flying figures. Those are partially a mention and a reminder of the Echios. Yeah, no, they were essentially creatures that were reminders of Mary's illness. That like they spew that like nasty liquid at you and stuff like that. It's just like sickness and just reminders of like the fact that his wife lied writhing in bed like sick and not like in pain all the time, and it's just like a constant reminder of that. And then just um they also have like the sexualized like little things here and there of just like the sounds they make and the movements they make and stuff like that. And it's just like um I remember one thing to point out too is that Master Ito, who did all the creature designs and stuff from the game, the one who won the lifetime achievement for the recent award thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of his stuff came from backgrounds and imagery based around like almost like BDSM kind of things. Like the lying figures had those like laced up backs as if they were wearing like a laced up like suit from like a BDSM suit, and like they have heels, they have like some of them have spikes, some of them have chains, some of them have like barbed wire. They have like different things like that that's just like meant to be almost like a masochistic kind of look to them, but also just like the hint of sexualization and like everything that you look at. And
Okay.
it's just an ongoing theme that he uses with a lot of his monsters in Silent Hill too, just because it ties in with like James and such. So
Mm. That makes sense. That makes sense. Like all the monsters are manifestations that also deal with his sexual frustration.
mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, Game good. Yeah, it's a really good game.
Game really good.
Yeah.
Mm.
What would you tell somebody who's thinking about playing Silent Hill 2 for the first time? Like, what advice would you give them?
Well, first of all, if they're listening to this call right now, I'm really, really sorry because I've spoiled probably like 80% of the game for you. I'm so sorry. If you didn't leave, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Um, But Silent Hill 2, for a lot of people who have never played it before or who are experiencing for the first time, one thing to take into account, especially in the remake, like this is one thing I love about the remake, is the fact that James' expressions, um, James' expressions are like micro transitions between expressions and emotions. And one thing I love about Silent Hill 2 remake is the fact that it doesn't hold your hand, doesn't disrespect players in the sense that it's just like they lead you by the hand, tell you everything that's happening, all the underlying context and everything. It's one of those games where you have to play it multiple times and kind of really like think about every moment, every word, every gesture, because everything has a meaning and a place in the game. So it's like take your time with it and like really think on it as you're playing through it. But again, if you're listening to this right now, I'm so sorry. I probably spoiled everything.
It's okay. That's okay. I've never played a Silent Hill game before, and it made me turn on my Resident Evil fan club card. I gotcha. And what's your opinion of James?
uh, I got feelings on that.
Go ahead, let him out. Let him out. Let the feeling out.
Okay, so James Sunderland, I love the original Silent Hill 2. It was one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite games. The thing is that a lot of people hadn't played the original Silent Hill 2, and now that everyone's playing the 2 remake, the problem that I have isn't necessarily with James, because I think that Luke Roberts did the most amazing job as James and portrayed him in such a way that it's like he is one of my favorite characters now. And like the thing is that James is an absolutely terrible person. He is the worst kind of man. He is awful. He is terrible. He is literally like the worst. The worst, the worst, the worst. Luke Roberts plays him in such a way that you feel sorry for him. You want to hug him. You want to like comfort him because he's sad. You want to like help him and everything. You want to root for him. But at the same time, you find out that he's not who he thinks he is, and he's a bad person. And everyone tries to like they try and baby girl him now, and I hate it. I hate going on Twitter and seeing people posting things like, oh my god, I love him so much, he's my oomphy and stuff like that. I'm like, I hate it. He's a bad person. Like, don't glorify a bad person. He killed his wife. He killed people. He literally like is not a good person. He is terrible. Like, he is an absolutely bad person. Some people are out there just like, oh my god, I love him so much and I want to squish his cheeks. Like, no, he's a bad guy. Like, stop it. That's like saying you want to make like the Joker into a baby girl, a guy who like tortures people, and be like, oh man, he's so sweet and cute. Like, no, he's not. And that's the thing, is that like that's part of James's like whole thing, is in the original game, the way he's portrayed is like very cold. His dialogue is almost like wacky because it doesn't really feel like it fits sometimes, and his emotions are very like minimalized, I guess, if that makes sense. He like seems very cold and almost distant, and that's because of the way that he was portrayed at the time, and because James as a character is going through almost like a psychotic break, and like everything that he went through and dealt with and did is repressed until the end of the game, when you finally see him for himself. Otherwise, he's a doe-eyed, lost, pathetic man who just can't figure out what's going on. And like, I love that for him because I love him as a character. He has so much depth to him. I love it. But it's like a lot of people just see like, oh, he's so cute and sweet and innocent, I just want to give him a hug and everything. It's like, no, it's just he's very different in the remake, but also that's because Luke plays him so well. So it's like in the original, he's like cold and distant for a reason, and in the remake, everyone just sees him as like this hot dude that they just want to like kiss on the mouth and, and stuff like that. And it's like there's a lot more to him than that, and people tend to focus on probably what they shouldn't focus on. But I mean, if it makes people play the game, then cool. I'm happy with it, you know? So.
Yep. Well, Hull says, yep, he's not a good guy. Go for Leon Kennedy, not James.
Leon is my husband. I love him very much. But I will not baby girl him either, because he's a badass, and I will not do that to him.
Yep. We live in a society. The reason why James killed Mary is sad. That is true, North Star. There's a reason why bad boys are called bad boys, says Cat Dude. And Mega Mocap says, yeah, I thought that was interesting. In the original, it seems like you were more distanced from him. Even with the camera, there's more disassociation. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Mm.
I agree with that because like I like the way the remake does it. Some people don't agree with it. They prefer the other camera angle before, like where it was all distance and fixed camera angles. But I like the way it is now because it makes it more intimate. You're up in James's space. You're like you feel like you're the one that's like running around helpless almost and like facing all these horrors. Whereas in the original, it's just like you're kind of more distant. You're kind of like he's almost like an anomaly because it's so like apart from you. But then in the remake, they make you almost like you're almost like a parrot on his shoulder. You're experiencing everything he's experiencing firsthand, and it's meant to make you feel a lot more vulnerable. And when you get hit, it actually like it yeah, it's more there's more of like an impact and stuff like that too. Like more of like a level of danger by being so close to him rather than being distant.
It makes the ending more impactful, I think. So speak of mocap VR. Um,
For sure.
yeah, I don't know. I was
Like,
I was very confused. Like through the progression of the game, I had no idea what was going on. Towards the end, I
mm-hmm,
was like, "Oh shit! I am the baddie. I am in my own
mm-hmm,
personal hell. I
mm-hmm,
probably killed my wife, and that's why I'm here." But
mm-hmm.
at the end, I was questioning. Was it in mercy? Like you needed release from the pain and suffering, or was it out of selfishness for me not wanting to be a part of that anymore? Like, it
Mm-hmm.
was a very, very deep meaning game. Um, okay. Um, which is
Yeah.
your, which is, do you have a preferred ending?
Um, I don't want to be the Debbie Downer in the room, but I also have a penchant for tragedy and tragic stories, and it's the loop theory and everything. It's not really new, but the loop theory that James is in this personal hell and he keeps going through it over and over and over is one of the reasons why I love this game so much. But also, there's a new ending that came out, which I don't
Oh,
necessarily want to spoil because it is cool. It is my favorite. The remake came out with two new endings.
okay.
One is called Stillness, and
Stillness.
was it Stillness, and the other uh, Bliss. Sorry, Bliss ending.
Bliss. Okay.
Um, one is very much. One is very sad. It's probably the saddest one in the game, and the reason why I love Luke Roberts' portrayal of James so much because he shows the most emotion James has shown the entire time. He shows remorse, and it's really sad. It's really sad, but it's so well acted that it's nuts. You know, it's
Hmm.
the reason why I'm glad he won best performance because seeing him like as that, it made me cry. Like it was more impactful than anything else in the game. And in the original game, at the very end, you get a letter and there's a voiceover of you get a voiceover of Mary reading her letter to you essentially. In the original game, Mary's voice actress is like crying as she's reading it because it's just that sad. And that's what gets me. But in the remake, the stillness ending is the most sad thing I've seen in relation to Silent Hill, and it's insanely good. It's really sad, you know. It's really good.
Hmm. I guess I'll have to check out those other endings. I have to try to unlock them
Mm-hmm.
myself now that I better understand the game and its mechanics. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Also, I saw you with a chainsaw in your playthrough. How do I get one?
Yeah. So the game has the regular hi Q-tip.
Hey,
um
Q-tip.
thank you Q-tip. Thank you.
Yeah, good job. Resub, 22 months. Damn. Chaos Squad, go
Thank you so
hard.
much. Mega Mogat, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Welcome to the Chaos Crew. But yeah, so uh so okay, so the game has New Game Plus. When you beat the game the first time, it'll give you New Game Plus as an option. In New Game Plus, when you're walking towards the town, there's an area where you get a chainsaw, and that chainsaw is overpowered, kills almost everything in one hit, and
That
It's very
sounds
loud, but it's very efficient. It's a lot of fun. The original game also had a chainsaw, which is a little trickier to find, but again, it was New Game Plus. So it's it's really well done, but also like there's some endings you can only get in New Game Plus. Like in order to get the Stillness ending, which is the ending that I wanted, the new ones, you have to get the in water ending first, because the Stillness ending kind of builds on the in water ending. So you'll have to play multiple times to get it, but it is worth it in my mind because the way that it's acted, it's so well done. So I highly recommend playing through multiple times if you can. Like getting the in water ending is a little tricky, but at the same time, it's the Stillness ending is amazing. So
sounds like Gato should
Chainsaw
be
Go
playing.
Burr.
Chainsaw Go Bear, yeah, that does sound a lot better. Wait, does the chainsaw have a limited gas? Do you have to find gas
Nope,
or anything?
it's unlimited.
Oh, sweet. That's so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So if you
also,
want to like speed through the game, you can use the chainsaw.
hell yeah. That sounds like my type of playthrough. Um, actually, you also challenge yourself, right? You are trying to, you plan to or have done a melee only playthrough?
Yep. Although I guess if you want to get nitpicky, I did kind of cheat because I used the chainsaw.
Mm-hmm.
But I got through the game, and I think it was what was it? I think it was 4.5 hours. I
Oh,
think,
fuck.
or no, was it no the 4 or 6? I don't remember. It was something there. It was. I don't remember how long exactly. I think it was under less than 6 hours because the idea was to get an achievement called Faster Than Fog, and the Faster Than Fog achievement requires you to beat the game in less than 10 hours. And then there was a melee only achievement. There was an achievement where you don't use the radio the entire game. And I was trying to get all three at the same time, so I just ran through with the chainsaw and went crazy. It was really funny.
Nice. Didn't matter. Didn't
And
matter.
if you get the dog ending, you actually skip the entirety of the ending fights because you don't watch the tape. You just go straight to the dog ending.
Oh,
So
you
I
like,
kind of cheesed it, and one of my community members got really mad at me because he's like, "What the hell? That's it?" I'm like, "Yep."
that's incredible. It's incredible.
It's really funny.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
All right. Let's see. Let me go check on you. Cause see how you're doing. Cause you've been being interviewed for, let's see, almost 5 hours now. 5 hours.
Mm.
All right. Well, if you want to keep going, we can keep going. Or if you want to, get some gaming in, do your normal thing. This might be a good break point. I'll leave it up to you. Yeah.
I'm down for a little bit longer if anyone wants to ask questions and stuff. I'm kind of a Resident Evil and Silent Hill encyclopedia typically, so if people want to ask questions or that, happy to.
Nice.
Happy to
Actually,
yeah, guys.
let me pull something up because I need to get, if we're going to talk Resident Evil, I need to get a Resident Evil background. And I know you have plenty on your Twitter. There has to be one. So let me scroll till I find a good Resident Evil background. And we'll get you probably yapping for several more hours here. Let's use this one. Let's use this one. Face to go. No, it's good. Legatos enjoy good theory. Actually, became important at work, and it's ruining my life. Wait, I don't understand this tweet,
Leon.
but it's just like Leon.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Oh man, it's gonna be hard to concentrate when he's looking at me like that. Oh god, okay.
Wait, so this picture does things to you? Is
This
that
is
what's
the
going
boy. He got me acting up. Fuck, okay.
on?
It's fine. Challenge run. Alright, I got this.
Challenge run,
I got
challenge
this. Let's
run.
not look. It's fine.
All right, let me get some questions real quick.
Can you see anything? Aw.
See anything nice.
That's okay. I was Ghostface for Halloween. I also could not see anything. I feel you. Resident Evil games? I do. Resident Evil 4 Remake is one of my top streamed titles. I've played it probably like 8 or 9 times on my channel all the way through. And I do speed runs of it and challenge runs. My most recent one was Was it? No, wasn't crowd control. No, it wasn't crowd control. What was it again? What was it again? I did the regular run. I did a speed run in 3.5 hours. I did the Berserker mod, which was the like super duper hard mode, and then was it crowd control? What was it? I played it recently, and I don't remember what the challenge was that I did, but I did it in like a couple hours. It was a lot of fun. Randomizer. That's it. I did the randomizer. That was fun.
All right. So, what was your first experience with Resident Evil?
Very, very first one was when I was very, very new to the series and very, very much still a scaredy cat or chicken, I guess. Sorry, no offense. Uh, um, I was terrified of horror games, and I watched someone play through the original Silent Hill 2, and I couldn't stand being in the same room because the zombie noises scared the crap out of me. But Resident Evil 4, the original, was the first horror game I ever beat by myself, and the first Resident Evil I ever beat by myself. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna mix up the scene so they can actually see and appreciate you more. Your model.
No worries.
Okay. Okay. Let me move you here, make you bigger, and then we'll still bring on Sexy Man Leon. And we'll shrink him down is what we'll do.
Hmm.
So he's like he's monitor 2 over here. Okay. Okay, okay, okay. I think we have a decent scene now.
Yeah, he's my husband. I love him very much.
He's your husband. All right, Jorm asked the question, if you're going to recommend just one game to someone who doesn't usually play horror games, what would it be?
That's a good one. Doesn't someone who's never played horror games? Hmm. I recommend one that isn't like super duper scary, just because that way it's kind of a nice way to kind of break you into it. It's hard for me to gauge because I've also been playing so many horror games before. I mean, a lot of people I know find Dead by Daylight to be terrifying, even though I think it's like silly, and I very rarely get scared unless like a jump scare, like someone pops out and freaks me out. Otherwise, story games. I mean, you could probably classify Luigi's Mansion as a low-key horror game. Like that one's probably the most watered down horror game I think I played, even though because like it still kind of counts as a horror game. Because you're fighting off ghosts and stuff like that, and it can be pretty freaky at times. But if you want like a story game, I always tell people if you want to pick up Resident Evil, pick up Resident Evil 2 Remake, because it's a good way to kind of like get an idea of what survival horror is like without it being as demanding as the originals with like the tank controls and such.
Well, Nomori, ChaosAkuma is part of a Death by Daylight community. So if you follow ChaosAkuma, you could also find friends, more people to play DVD with. Should Gato play Alien? Is there like an original Alien game?
Mora, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Chaos Crew. There's Alien Isolation. You played Alien Isolation.
Yeah, but done Alien Isolation.
You said that you named the alien Fluffy.
Yep.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if you're not really the biggest fan of horror games, or if you want to try and dive into more horror games, there's some accessible ones, I guess. Trying to see. I mean, one game that I feel bad for this. One game that's actually scary that I laugh at because I'm a psychopath, apparently. I'm just psycho. Is Mortuary Assistant. Mortuary Assistant is both disgusting and scary because it has a lot of jump scares in it. It has a lot of like spooky ghost stuff going on, but it's also like if you don't want the gross factor of like basically embalming bodies in a mortuary, there's some other horror games I can recommend. uh, I'm trying to see.
Alien VR, that is. No. I think Gato should play Dead Space.
That one's pretty freaky. That one's survival horror, and that one's pretty freaky.
Okay. All
Hmm.
right. Do you have a favorite Resident Evil game in the series, and why?
I love 4 to death. Uh, I feel bad in this case because like I can't say the original is like bad now compared to the remake or anything like that, but it's like the original, the remakes of 4 and Silent Hill 2 have really like taken the original formula and things that I love about them and improved upon them. The only thing I will say about Resident Evil 4 remake is the fact that Leon looks so different from his 2005 counterpart in the original. I like how he looked in the original. He looked really hot, and I vibe with that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he's my hero. So like in the remake, he looks different, sounds different. I couldn't get behind it at first, but he's grown on me. It's subjective. But I love the fact that playing the original, I was terrified the whole time. I had to take breaks for months at a time because I was so scared I couldn't push through it. But after I beat RE4, I was like, you know what? If Leon can handle these horrors, so can I. And he kind of inspired me, and we kind of became like my hero in like horror games and stuff. And it's like going through all the other Resident Evils that he was in. I'm like, man, like Leon's badass, and like sure he's in a bad place at a bad time, but he does what he has to do, and he wants to try and help others. And it's like I can get with that, you know. So I
Husbando
love 4.
nerfed. Nice. Fearless going. No Mori's asking, what was the other similar game that was near like Mortuary Assistant Autopsy Simulator or something? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, Autopsy Simulator. It's pretty good. The
Mm,
story is kind of all over the place a little bit when I first played it, but I like the idea that rather than Mortuary Assistant, where you're focused on trying to figure out what ghost or demon you're dealing with, it's more focused on the characters themselves that you're dealing with on the table. So you have these bodies, and every person that you're dealing with, every autopsy you're doing, you find out how they died, and you're basically almost investigating a crime as you're doing it, and it's really cool
mhm.
because I like that idea that every person had different circumstances. It's like almost like a crime scene, like investigation thing as you're doing an autopsy. It's kind of cool. I like it.
Yep. Little Hollow wants to know, have you ever played the Fear series?
I did. I played. I think it was the original, or was it? Yeah, I think it was the original Fear. And I'll be honest, when I played it, I was kind of laughing at it, and I shouldn't laugh. I shouldn't, but like there was several parts where it looked like people were getting like bodied in a really funny way, and I just couldn't stop laughing at it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I felt kind of bad. It's like Mortuary Assistant, like someone like dies or something happens or something that spooky happens, and I the way the animation is, it's all like crunchy and stuff, and it looks silly. So I just laugh at it, and I shouldn't laugh at it, but I do. But I played the first Fear a little bit, and it seemed interesting. I might revisit the series at some point, but it was kind of funny. I just kind of laughed at it.
Yep. Geofracture Game says, do you have any recommendations for cosmic horror games?
Cosmic horror. I will say that I probably could recommend. I mean, Signalis is kind of like it's survival horror, but it's also like almost like a futuristic dystopian future, and it has a lot going on that leaves leaves much to be like said. I guess one of those games where you have to like kind of read between the lines and like connect the dots, and even still, it's like it takes a while to like figure out what's going on exactly. But it does have a lot of eldritch horror kind of vibes to it, and implications and everything, and I definitely recommend it. It has like an interesting blend of English, Japanese, and German thrown in. They use classical music while having futuristic kind of stylization to it. It's all pixelated, and it has point and click, but also it's a shooter, like a
Mm-hmm.
survival horror side scroll shooter. It's really interesting. It's a weird combination, but it's one of my favorite like games I played on stream since I started streaming.
One game that seems really interesting to me is Soma, says Nomori. Have you played Soma? Do you have comments on Soma?
I Yeah, I've seen friends play it. I haven't played it myself. It's on my list, but I haven't played it. Um, it's really, really good, and from what I've seen, I remember like watching a part that like it kind of made me really upset. Um, I don't know. I don't want to spoil it, but there was like a part that kind of upset me a little bit because like there was this thing where it was almost like another person,
Mm-hmm.
and at one part you like have to solve a puzzle, and in order to solve the puzzle you have to cause pain to this thing, and you hear it screaming out in pain, and it freaked me out. I was like, I had to leave the stream. I couldn't watch it. And it was like, in order to proceed you have to like cause pain to something, and I'm like, I can't do it because it was like screaming and it was terrifying, and I was like, nope, I'm good, nope. Like it made me sad. I was like, no, make it stop, like I felt really bad. So I wasn't even playing
Mm.
and I felt guilty almost, and I'm like, I'm probably gonna play it at some point, but I know that it's one of those games that's gonna really really stick with me for a bit. So
Wait, wasn't that like one of those like dark psychological tests they did in the early 19th, 20th century, where they had people like push a button that allegedly caused them pain, and they would scream louder, and they kept instructing the person to keep pushing the button until they simulated that they flatlined the person. I could have sworn that was, I forget what they called that study. Yep,
I
says Lil
haven't
Hollow.
heard of that, but oh
Yeah,
man.
no, I forgot. Ah, Lil Hollow, go figure out what it's called. I forget what they called that test. All right. Let's get back to Resident Evil. Which game do you think has the scariest moment and why?
Which Resident Evil?
Yeah.
Hmm. I mean, I'm trying to think because I played almost all of them. I mean, personally, for me, because like I have a crippling fear of snakes. I have a fear and a hatred for snakes. So there's a part in one of the Resident Evil games where a giant snake shows up and you try and fight the snake. And I was like playing through like squinting and trying to look away, and I was freaking out. Um, but otherwise, I mean, Resident Evil 7, a lot of people love that game. I am not a fan of it technically because like I feel like it's so far placed from Resident Evil that it feels like it's like a Texas Chainsaw game rather
Mm-hmm.
than a Resident Evil game. But there's a couple times in Resident Evil 7 that when I played it, it freaked me out. And I was like, it got me good. It got me like panicking almost because I'm just like, damn, what am I supposed to do? Like, what the hell? And, like it's equal parts frustrating for me, but also equal parts scary. So it's like it does a good job. I think the first person helps deliver scares, but also it's just like it's probably one of the better games in the series, according to most at least. For me, it's not really Resident Evil, but it's still a good game on its own.
Mm-hmm. All right. Do you have a favorite character in the franchise? Which makes them stand out to you, or what makes them stand out to you?
That's Leon Kennedy, that
Leon
dude right up
Kennedy.
there, hot guy.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
They called it the Milgram experiment. Thank you, Lil Hole. Thank you. Yep. Um, and why? Why is he your favorite?
Just because in the original game when I was playing through it, I had to watch him die a lot, and it was traumatizing because I
Mm-hmm.
died a lot of the time because I panicked. But um, I don't know, just I feel like it's like Leon can go through all these terrible things and still find humor, still find time to like make quips and joke, and that's how I deal with fear is I make jokes and stuff, so I kind of feel a kinship in that. And then also just like yeah, it helps that he's hot, but also the fact that just like I feel like it's like if Leon can do it, I can too, and it kind of like encourages me to like in the face of fear, like do what I have to do to get through it, kind of thing. It was like a little
W.
inspiration thing for me back when I was still a coward. So
W. When you die so much, you feel bad for your character. True.
literally, yeah.
Uh, uh,
Oh man.
how would you rank the main antagonist? Albert Wesker, Lady D, or Nemesis? Who do you think?
Nemesis is by far the scariest.
Okay.
Uh, Wesker secondary for sure.
Okay.
Lady D less so.
Lady
And this
D's.
is because
Oh, continue.
this is a me problem. I don't think I didn't stream Resident Evil 7 the first time I played it,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know if I've ever like made this apparent, but I am in fact bisexual,
Oh,
and
nice.
I have a crush on Lady D. So the entire time I played through it, I was yelling, "Please step on me," and or crush me, and I was being a little deviant. I was being disgusting. I was just like, crush me with thighs, be fun, like stuff like that.
Mommy.
Um,
Mommy, sorry. Mommy, sorry.
yeah, I wasn't doing like mommy, but I was just like, crush me, kill me, do it, you won't, and like I
Death
kept
by
walking
snoo
into
stew.
her. Literally, and I was just like, man, I can't take her seriously. I'm sorry. It's just too hot. I can't do it.
Yes, Lady D joined the club, says
Ah,
Storm. I think, yeah, definitely. I was about to say Lady D is definitely the least scary because she's just so damn hot. Like it's
yeah, like
just,
she could eviscerate you, and that is scary in its own right. But at the same time, it's like there's worse ways to go than being eviscerated by a hot lady who's like
mm.
twice my size.
Yeah, she's
I'm
like
just
10
saying.
foot or 12 foot or something crazy, right?
Yeah, she's like crazy huge.
Uh, which is she at
She's in
again?
Resident.
Oh, go for it.
She's in Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 8.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh my god,
Uh,
but that's funny.
the puzzles in Resident Evil are iconic. Do you enjoy solving them or do you find them frustrating?
Um, some of them are pretty frustrating at times. Most of them are pretty fun to solve. They're like slider puzzles or like numbers you gotta figure out, stuff like that. I play a lot of survival horror, and a lot of those puzzles can be really stupid. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough, the hardest ones I've ever dealt with were for Silent Hill. Silent Hill had this one puzzle in Silent Hill 1 with a piano, and it made no damn sense to me. And I sat there for like an hour and a half trying to figure it out, and I got so angry. And like Resident Evil's puzzles, I think, are fair in their execution. I haven't really faced any that are like super difficult. I know Resident Evil 1 though is like it's a game where you have to try and find keys, and it's all about like finding keys to progress, and that gets really annoying. It's not so much a puzzle as it is just like being in the right place at the right time and knowing where to go, which is really frustrating.
Yep. Cool. Cool. All right. Let me ask. Story and lore. The series has a complex story. What do you think of the Umbrella Corporation as a central antagonist?
I think that the Umbrella as the central antagonist is good because like it leaves a lot to be, I guess, like a lot of open ends for later on. I know that like after the events of Raccoon City and everything, Umbrella wasn't really the main antagonist anymore, but even still, like everything that happened there is still like rippled in every game essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how they've kind of changed over time, and like just like a mutation would in like all the games and stuff for like monsters and viruses. It's like the games themselves do change over time as well. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like the fact that Umbrella's whole thing is corporate greed. They tried to like make a virus that they could sell as a weapon, and they tried to like create something that would give people like everlasting life or heal the sick, and they tried to play God, and it blew up in their face and ended up destroying the entire town. And like it ended up like killing so many people over the years. Like every single time they try and stop it, something else happens. So
Mm.
it's good though. Like that's one of the reasons why Resident Evil is so iconic, is because just like part of it is the fact that Umbrella is this almost, it's like almost an unstoppable force where it's like you're not dealing with one person who has like plans to rule the world. You have an entire organization that is like a mix of people that are corrupt, a mix of people that are innocent trying to help, a mix of people that are like all morally everywhere on the scale. So it's like you don't know what exactly you're dealing with, but you have a lot of people that come out of that and have every chance to like take over where Umbrella left off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool.
I gotcha. All right. And on that same topic of story and lore, if you could change it or expand any storyline in the franchise, what would it be?
Um, I would definitely love to see. Uh, One thing I got kind of upset about between Resident Evil 2 remake and Resident Evil 4 remake is the fact that it's supposed to be like 6 years apart, and a lot of stuff happened the um in 2 that wasn't discussed in 4. So like you have a lot of things where it's like Leon might have learned different things, or he might have like come to some realizations in the end of, at the end of 2 that weren't discussed in 4. He had like a 2-minute monologue about how everything changed since Resident Evil 2, but when you get to him in 4, it's like there's a lot of things that like what happened to characters in 2, what happened to this, like what happens when he found out about like other characters and what happened to them. Like you never get that context. And it really sucks because I feel like it would have been really cool to see like Leon's reaction to stuff, and like this character that you care about. You get to see him go from this sweet innocent boy to this really hardened guy, and it's like you see glimpses of his RE2 self, but I would have loved to see more of like his reaction to everything and like what happened to him between 2 and 4 that made him the way he is now. More than just a 2-second monologue.
Mm, interesting. Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about the gameplay and design. What's your favorite Resident Evil gameplay mechanic or innovation?
Jarma, thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you. Um, so sorry, you said gameplay and then like mechanics and such.
Yeah, what's your favorite Resident Evil gameplay mechanic or innovation?
Moving from Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, where they had all the or even like Code Veronica, stuff like that. They had all the older games that had the um was it the tank controls and the fixed camera angles. I love that they moved to over the shoulder. And
Mm.
Resident Evil 4, if you're not sure, people don't know about this, which is funny. Resident Evil 4's over the shoulder like camera and everything, it literally revolutionized horror gaming and like survival horror in general, because without Resident Evil 4 with the over the shoulder camera and an action and everything like that, you wouldn't have Dead Space. You wouldn't have
Mm-hmm.
like several other games that you have nowadays. Almost every game that runs out in over the shoulder third person is lends credence back to Resident Evil 4, because Resident Evil 4's change from the survival horror and the lack of controls to having a ton of control and a ton of like maneuverability and like being able to like do like physical combat with enemies and stun them and stuff and take them out and everything was like crazy. It was a crazy jump in like technological um advancement in like Resident Evil in that case, because it took on more of an action role than more of like a horror one. And then every game since then has gone that same route where it's like it changed the game and then the series to be more action packed and everything. And it has gotten over the top over the years, but I still love how 4 has like paved the way for so many other games that we play nowadays. That it's just like, again, like Silent Hill 2, it was fixed camera angles and all that stuff, and like the tank controls and stuff like that. And it's like it's so cool. It's so different now, you know. Like I love that because it's like the game itself plays so different when over the shoulder compared to fixed camera angles, and I love that.
I got you. But on that same note, wait. No, you cannot cook the cat, Jade.
No, Jaden, stop it. No, bad.
Gameplay and design. What are your thoughts on the shift to first person in games like Resident Evil 7 and Village?
uh, while I do love the third person over the shoulder in 4, I really, really don't like the first person in 7 and 8. I don't even like to consider 7 Resident Evil. It just feels like a Texas Chainsaw. And while Village is fun, I will admit, I will admit most of the reasons why I like Village is because of the fact they took so much from 4. Like if you compare 4 and you compare Village, it literally takes so much from the game. Like they have the merchant in there, they have um the 3 stages of the map in there, they have I'm trying to think, like the weapon systems and stuff like that were very similar. The inventory was the same. Like there's several things that they took from 4 that they put into Village, and I got actually pretty pissed about it because I'm just like, it feels like I'm not getting it for remake ever. And this is before they announced 4 remake, and I thought I'd never see Resident Evil 4 get a remake. And then I got a 4 remake and I was happy. But still, like I just feel like the first person is like, well, it's good. It just doesn't feel Resident Evil-y, you know? I don't know, but also high grown up.
Yep.
That's just me at least.
Chronically Queer said Village really took the best aspects of the previous games. Okay. All right, we talked about this because Resident Evil has stayed true to limited inventory and space. What are your strategies for managing limited ammo and resources in a survival horror game?
It kind of taught me a few different little like tricks, I guess, I use in other games. And it was I had this like need to pick up whatever I find. I'm not like a hoarder. It's just whenever I'm playing games like that, it's like, oh, I find an item, I'm gonna take that with me, you know. But it's like unless I'm in an area where I sense I'm not gonna come back, or if I'm like, oh, I should just grab this thing, it's important. Um, I have this like almost like this moment where I paused and I'm like, should I grab this? Do I need this? And it's like in Resident Evil 2, there's a lot of times where I had to like run around the building and I don't pick up everything I find. I just end up leaving it there because I'm like, I'll come back for this. And then like making a mental note of where things are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of helped me in Dead by Daylight even because like in Dead by Daylight you'll have these totems where you have to find them and break them. The killer can't get power and stuff like that. And it's like if you I make a mental note of where things are, and it's kind of helped me prioritize where things are and remember like what I had to deal with kind of things. So it's kind of helped me like almost like keeping track of things, I guess, and like managing what I need to deal with and when I need to deal with it.
Yep. I don't appreciate its limited inventory. I hated it. I hated it. I wanted to mod it out and have unlimited space. And then I was playing with crowd control, and so my
Oh
community
god.
had the ability to give me items. They're just like, here's another tape reel for the typewriter. Here you go. Here's another one. Here's another one. So they're clogging up my already existing limited inventory.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh my
let's
god.
horror and atmosphere. Let's talk about which Resident Evil game has the best atmosphere in your opinion.
Um hmm. That's tricky. Like as much as I knock on Village once in a while, I do like the atmosphere there. I won't say it's my favorite because 4 is definitely still my favorite. That like rural Europe vibe is very like it's almost the closest thing to Silent Hill I'm ever gonna get in Resident Evil, where it's like you're out in the middle of nowhere and it could be foggy or something like that out there, and it's like it'd be perfect. It'd be like Silent Hill almost would feel like it. But no, I don't know, like Village is really cool, and like any of those places that are kind of like out in the middle of nowhere where you feel like you're isolated and alone. I always kind of prefer that over Resident Evil's like the Raccoon City incident and everything else because you're in this confined city where everything connects to everything. It's a maze and it's a labyrinth to get out. Where it's like if you're out in the middle of nowhere, it's like it's a little bit more I don't know, like it's more fun, I guess, in my mind, or like more refreshing, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I don't know.
All right. Horror and atmosphere. What's a moment in the series that genuinely terrified you?
Oh, so I don't know if you played Resident Evil 4, either the remake or the new one, or the old one. Sorry.
I played the Nintendo Wii version, so technically I
Oh,
think
okay.
that was a remake, like one of the early remakes. But I actually really enjoyed that because with the Wiimote, you actually could like change the perspective of the gun really quickly. It was actually like a really good adaptation in my opinion. But that was my first Resident Evil was RE4 on the Nintendo Wii. And then my community pressured me to get Resident Evil 2. So I did, and I played the remake, and that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Hmm. So when I say regenerators, you'll know what I'm talking about, right?
No, refresh my memory. I am also an orange cat, so I got one brain cell. Borrowed.
So, so the end of Resident Evil, or not the end, but like the last third of the game, there's these creatures that come out called regenerators. Regenerators are essentially these like giant looking, grayish monsters that have essentially been people that were experimented on and turned into BOWs, bioweapons. So in Resident Evil 4 in the original, I got to the part where you face one of those, and they have this iconic noise they make. It's like this like frantic breathing / growling that they do, and it's quiet. But then when you when you encounter one, it can like straight up kill you. Like it can just like try and like pull you in and kill you. And um the regenerators will again they'll regenerate when you kill them. When you shoot them, they just regenerate parts of their body. They're really hard to kill unless you have a specific like thermal scope to kill them. And they are relentless. Like they are terrifying. And when I first played against them, they have these glowing red eyes too. So if you're in the dark, you can all you see is the glowing red eyes and this creepy noise that they make. And I had nightmares for a long time. I was traumatized. I had to stop playing for like 6 months because I was too terrified to play against them. So when it came time to play in the remake, I had a panic attack on stream, and a lot of people came in and tried to cheer me on to like bypass that part. I didn't realize that they were going to be there, and it was somehow scarier in the remake than it was in the original because they kept the same noise and the same glowing eyes they had in the original, and if anything, it just made them look like scarier. And yeah, I got to that part and I had like a whole mental breakdown on stream. I'm like, I'm so sorry, guys. Like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I was panicking, hyperventilating, and Chad helped me get through it by cheering me on and then like being nice to me and everything. It's just like they helped me with it. But yeah, no, that was trauma. that was straight up trauma. So
Miguel Cap says best enemies ever made. He's also ratting me out, and he says Gato cheated and had chat give guns. Yes, I was playing with crowd control. So in RE2, they could also gift me the rocket launcher and the Magnum, and so I had those pretty early on. All right. Chronically Queer says, I know some people who decided to just shoot them until the parasite was visible, so they didn't have to use the scope. The noise is so rough, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever heard the sound of a regenerator. Like, I know you played the original, so it's like you'll understand, but it's the same thing. And then when I heard, like, I was standing in a dark hallway and I heard that noise, I freaked out. I bolted. I ran back and I started like almost like crying. I was like, I can't do this. There's no way. There's no way I'm not ready.
It probably was scary, and I probably have blocked it out because I have played RE4. Like, I know I played it. Ask me to, like, describe a scene or whatever, and this cat brain can't do it. I should probably just replay it. Maybe with mods for chat, because I think that was another crowd control option. I think it would be
yeah, original 4 has it. The remake does not, though.
No, that sucks.
Not yet. I keep bugging them about it. I'm like, add the damn crowd control. You have it in 2. Why don't you have it in 4? Come on. So not yet, though.
Okay. Let's talk about the remakes and adaptations. What is your opinion on the remakes, like Resident Evil 2 and 4? Do you think they live up to the originals?
I think they do, and while before Silent Hill 2 came along, I thought Resident Evil 4 was the best remake you could ever get out of like a game, honestly. I love how they added more to the game. They gave you more context. They gave you more time with characters that weren't around for very long, stuff like that. So you got a little bit more tender moments between the characters and more like growth as characters and development. But at the same time, I feel like there was also a few things that I kind of wish they'd done differently. Notably in 4 remake, I was kind of upset because the actress for a character changed. I'm not gonna say anything. They changed, and the voice work they did was not anywhere near what it could have been, or what I feel like a lot of people feel like it should have been. There was a whole fiasco over that and everything, but apart from that, like everything in the game was fantastic. I just feel like the remakes choice of like an
Mhm.
actress and her portrayal was not what it could have been or what it should have been, because I feel like compared to 2, they replaced the actress, and it was very upsetting. A lot of people were really upset about that. It would have been perfect otherwise, but like that's the only like issue I really had with the remake. But I think 2 remake is amazing considering um the material they had to work with. But at the same time, I also feel like 2 remake didn't really include as much as it could have, I guess, in terms of like story. Because it feels like when you play 2 remake between Leon and Claire, it feels like both of their playthroughs are almost identical for half of the game. So you're replaying the game a second time essentially without having like much different going
Yeah,
on. So
that
it's
felt annoying a little bit, not gonna lie.
yeah, yeah. Like I had that same friend Border I was telling you about that I got to play Silent Hill 2. I gave him a copy of 2 remake, and I'm like, hey, play this, and he's like, okay. And yeah, you played through Leon's campaign, loved it, and then when he started playing through Claire's, I'm like, why is it the same thing? I'm like, it just does until a certain point, but most of it is like is very samey until like specific moments. So it kind of bummed him out a little bit, but it's just one of those things. It's like I feel like 2 was kind of designed that way originally, anyways. That it's like you have 2 characters walking almost a similar path. I just wish that it was a little more different.
Okay. Okay. Speaking of remakes, are there any games in the series you feel deserve a remake?
I really, really, really hope they do another remake. I know they're working on one behind the scenes. Apparently, they're working on a bunch of Resident Evil games right now. But the big thing for me is that in 4, they introduced a character who was in the original Resident Evil games. And this character plays a very large part in the story of Resident Evil. And it's kind of weird that they suggested that they brought him in to a game where he wasn't typically present, unless it was like side content. But it begs the question, like, are they going to do a remake of RE5 next? Because RE5 is was actually like you could see stuff from 5 included in the remake, and they're like, what the hell, why? So like they're hinting at doing an RE5 remake, but also I want them to go back and do the earlier games, like 1. I want to see 1 in the same engine as 4 remake, and I want to see those characters and stuff from the remake done that way, because they have 3 remake as well, which a lot of people didn't like because they didn't flesh it out anywhere near as much as they should have. They cut a lot out and they made it really short. But I love Carlos in 3, and like I like Jill in 3, and I want to see 1 remade. I want to see like I would love to see if they added more to 3, but I doubt they will. That ship kind of sailed. But I'd love to see like 1 remade, and I want to see Code Veronica remade, because Code Veronica also takes place before 5. So it's like, give us those 2 games, because it gives a lot of context of like other characters in the story, like Chris especially. So they do 5 that Chris is the protagonist of. At least that way people have played the original games and they know kind of what's going on in the same canon, because they also changed a lot of the story, or like minor things in the story in the canon for the remake timeline, because 2 changes some things about Leon as well that wasn't in the original. So
They
I don't
should
know. I'd
have
like to see they
remade
just did 1.
Code Veronica's as Mega Mocap, but it's an anime. No idea how they can make it work.
Yeah, they'd have to ground Code Veronica quite a bit and make it more realistic, because Code Veronica is kind of fantastical in like its execution.
Alright, let me ask you, what are your thoughts on the Netflix Resident Evil series and other adaptations? Do they do the franchise justice?
Oh no, this is the part where I start sipping that haterade and try not to spill everywhere.
Haterade, this is the first time I heard that. Okay.
Yep. I'm gonna sip that haterade, guys. Sorry. If you guys are fans of the adaptations of Resident Evil, I am so sorry, but I do not know. I watched the original movies. The original Resident Evil movie, the first one, was good on its own. It was a good movie because it took a very real scenario of Resident Evil and then gave it a character that was not related to any other characters in canon, and it was like its own thing. Cool, awesome, love that. You know, it's like its own thing within the universe. And then every single movie after that, they took the idea of other characters from the games and completely changed them. and then made the main character Mary Sue, who took over everything. And I showed that to my friend Border, and he got physically angry with how much of a Mary Sue she was. And they got really angry about like how they changed everything and like made it so she was the super powered like leader, and everyone else kind of sucked. And it's like what? And then the was it the Netflix show I didn't watch. I saw one clip of it and I decided I wasn't gonna watch it. Even though Lance Riddick, I'm sure, did a wonderful job as Wesker, rest in peace. I couldn't watch it. And then the Welcome to Raccoon City movie that came out, I couldn't watch the whole thing. I ended up having to watch the whole thing recently because I hate it, but I showed that one to Border as well. And I was like, I can't watch this. I really don't like it. They disrespected Leon in such a way that I stopped watching it. Nope, can't do it. It's over. But they just
Not my
the
husband.
locations in the movie look good. Everything else is terrible. The characters are written badly. They take like Leon, this character who's like a badass, and the entire running joke of the movie is how crappy Leon is. They make fun of him the whole time, and it's like, why? They make Claire like an absolute jerk, and like they made so many parts of the movie terrible, and it's like I don't know. Like they want to try and do another one, and it's like, please God, don't, please don't do another one.
Just stop. Just stop.
So, yeah, just don't.
It's funny, but not funny. Damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's talk about streaming Resident Evil. Do you have a favorite Resident Evil moment from your streams or content creation?
Favorites? I mean, I remember doing a I did a stream where it was I tried to do a full stream of Resident Evil 5 or 4, the original one. And I did the entirety of the game in one sitting, and I did the DLC, the Separate Ways DLC as well. And my goal was to do the entire thing in like 12 hours before RE4 Remake came out.
Oh wow.
And so I binged it on stream, and that was a wild stream. It was like a party that day because like I got tons of raids, and I got some people coming through like, you're still playing this, and like people were like cheering me on, and I was like, I gotta do this, guys, I gotta beat it. And like it was a struggle for a while, but it was a lot of fun. And like it was a party for like 12 hours. It was crazy. It was so much fun.
So good, says Mega Mocap. Wow. I was like, you and Mega Mocap have a lot in common as far as loving of horror games. Okay.
And then like the recent playthrough I did of 4 Remake, I did the randomizer. And there's a clip I have. It's on my channel. It's the randomizer decided to spawn a boss on me as I started. After the first cutscene ended. Not even 0.02 seconds after I took control of my character and started the game, the boss punched me in the face and killed me, and it said, you died. And I just started. I was like, wow. I was crying laughing, like, what?
That is
what?
brutal.
It was so funny. It's like one of the funniest moments I've ever had. It was just I was losing it. I'm like, what? The clip is still there somewhere, but I was crying laughing. Like I heard stomping. I'm like, guys, what's that noise? And then I like unpaused it. I'm like, I heard it again. I'm like, guys, why do I hear footsteps? What is that? And all of a sudden, like I took control of my character, and it's just like, chapter 1, find Ashley, and then I just got punched in the head and died. And I was like, what? It was so funny. Oh, that was hilarious.
Alright. Let's talk about what advice would you give someone new to the franchise who wants to start playing or streaming the Resident Evil series?
If you have no issues with controls, playing the original games is tricky. But also it is rewarding in its own way. I started with a more modern game and then worked my way to the old ones just because of the time and the fact that like the controls for the originals do annoy me quite a bit. I played the original ones, the PS1 Resident Evil, and I got stuck and I got pissed off a lot. So it's like it's good if you want a game that has good story and everything. If you want to try and explore the narrative without having to deal with everything else, I recommend Resident Evil 2 Remake because that's probably a good stepping stone to get started. Um, it's friendly to newcomers, and you don't have to really understand the other games or play the other games to really know what's going on. So I always, whenever friends tell me they're like, I haven't played before, I'll send them copies of 2 Remake, and I'll be like, play this, just check this out, play it, you'll like it.
Okay.
Mm.
Let's do fun and hypothetical questions. If you're trapped in
Mm-hmm.
a Resident Evil scenario, which character would you want by your side? I think I know your answer.
Yeah, you know who I'm gonna pick. It's gonna be Leon.
Leon. Nice.
Of course.
Nice.
If I
Uh,
had a different character though, because like an actual character, I would choose Carlos from Resident Evil 3 Remake because Carlos is awesome.
mm, all right. What's your favorite weapon in the series?
My favorite weapon is the Blacktail pistol that you use in Resident Evil 4. And funny enough, that gun was like my favorite, but also it was part of what inspired me, I guess, because Blacktail was a nickname at one point that I had and everything. Because like my character and me as I am right now, I have a black tail, and that kind of stuck with me. That it's just like in Final Fantasy 14, uh, I had the title Black Blood, and then I also go by Black Tail, so it's just like kind of helps scope a little bit of my character and everything because I have a black tail and I have black blood, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty on brand. That's pretty cool. Coincidental, but yeah,
Mm,
it's a good pistol too. So
very cool. Very cool. All
mm.
right. Let me ask you, do you think you'd survive a zombie apocalypse with your Resident Evil knowledge?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Nutters.
No, there's no doubt, no question.
Absolutely. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Zombies are like one of my favorite categories of horror, and I used to be obsessed with zombies, like zombie horror and like zombie apocalyptic scenarios and everything. I still love zombies so much, so it's like it's my favorite thing.
Awesome. All right. And
Mm.
then final question. What crossover would you like to see with Resident Evil?
Uh, in the same realm of possibility, because I can't really say like Silent Hill because that's not really the same deal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, hmm. I'm trying to think because like all the other horror games I can really think of that I think would be really cool to cross over are ones that deal in supernatural things, not necessarily, Denny's. um, um,
Arky versus Five Hearts Underwater? No.
Kingdom Hearts. Oh my god, Leon in Kingdom Hearts 6 or whatever. God,
Hey, what's up, Koji? How are you?
I'm not sure. Not really sure. Um, I mean, I love any kind of chance to like have more Resident Evil in my other games. Like having
Mhm.
like I know like there's Marvel vs. Capcom where you can play as like Resident Evil characters and stuff like that, but like I don't think that it's possible to like really like shoehorn in characters and other genres that being really weird or janky. So it's like that's a hard one. I'd have to like think about that one for a while to come up with
Mhm.
something.
I want to see how to get a date with Nemesis as if it flies a prize. Okay. All right. Community, Chaos Crew, and Gatos. Now that you've heard from one of the most versed Resident Evil and Silent Hill buffs that I've ever come across, any questions about either of those games or any lore questions, anything you want to dive into? I'll give it open up to you. Um, I'll ask you a tough question. Uh,
Hmm.
you can only play one game for the rest of your life. Which game is it gonna be?
Hmm. That's a hard one. Uh, hmm. Hmm. It's a toss up. It's a toss up. Like I love Silent Hill 2 remake, but I also love Resident Evil 4 remake. and it's impossible to tell the two. So it's like I don't know, but ah man, that's hard. That's hard. It's toss up between either one of those two, honestly.
Mm,
It's a really hard one. I don't know, like probably 2 is special in my life and in my heart, but I also feel like 4 is like a chance to actually like play because like each playthrough you can do something kind of different a little bit
mm-hmm.
if you wanted to, and it's like it has the chance of like different weapons, different stuff. You have more options to choose, and you can like go through things differently. I guess it's still a linear path, but at least you can handle it with like a little bit of like style and different takes each time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Silent Hill is very like linear of just like you can only do this one thing kind of thing. So.
Uh, at least with 4, you'd get to hang out with Leon.
Yeah.
If it flies, it fries. Asks, I want to see how to get a date with Nemesis. Any comments?
Just don't be one of the members of Stars. I think it should be okay.
Mm. And then
He might not like acknowledge you, but I mean, isn't that how like most of those like isekai anime and stuff go? Where it's just like, oh my god, Senpai didn't notice me, but I love him so much anyway. You know?
Mega Mocap says, does Nemesis poop? Does he poop?
No, he does not. As far as I know. Um logically, biologically, Nemesis only ever like I don't believe he does because Nemesis in uh he's a mutated person, so like he's a creature like put together to mutate. He doesn't really kill, he doesn't like eat people or go for dinner dates at all. He just does his thing, and the only ever time that I could ever imagine he would ever ingest anything is if he had to ingest DNA to like further evolve or mutate. That would literally be it.
Mm. Koji says, why is the hill silent? No spoilers, though.
Um, hmm. I mean, if you wanted to get like philosophical about it without spoiling, you could probably just say the hill is silent because there's no one there to hear you scream.
True. True. Alright, the North Star says, was Chris punching that rock effective? Huh?
I mean, on the one hand, it could have been him just like trying to like help get some momentum, and it would have been like a desperate plea to like move the rock. But I mean, if we're talking logics here, I mean, he could be doing it to get like a better grip on it, so like give it more of a push, or I don't know. Yeah, it works. I mean, Chris has that I hate Albert Wesker diet, so I mean that's how he got so rooted out so fast. So I mean that helps, I guess.
Oh.
Hi, Carker.
Dear shits the wood, does anyone notice that? Yeah. Alright, cool.
I was gonna say it's kind of late, so I probably will stick around for a few more questions and then probably wind down.
Yeah, I think we're winding down.
Hmm.
Now that I've played Resident Evil 2 Remake, which one should I play next?
If you want to be hot on the tails of 2 remake, you could play 3 remake, and 3 remake is separate from most of the other stuff in the story. It kind of fills you in because Jill was part of Resident Evil 1, so it kind of tells you a little bit about what she's gone through. But if you really just want to continue the 2 canon, I'd play 4 remake because 4 remake is supposed to be a direct sequel to 2, and 4 is its own thing separate from the rest of the games.
I might do 4 Remake.
3
Consider
is also really
3.
good too.
Yeah.
I love Carlos, so yeah.
If it flies, it fries. Says it always. I always took it as it's an alternate reality that the person walks into, but everyone on the outside, it's just silent because you're gone. Mm.
Yeah, I think without going to spoiler territory, I think Silent Hill is meant to be like it's silent in the fact that it's like you're alone. You're meant to be alone.
RE3 remake is really fun, says Megamoka. Yeah, I'll have to see which, if any of them, also have crowd control. Like, my community, they don't have toys. They're not entertained. Like, they need toys. They love their toys. So,
Mm.
okay. Alright, well, let's wind it down.
Mm.
You have questions for me related to those games?
Did you? Mm. If you had the opportunity uh, hmm. if you had the chance to be in any of the Resident Evils, 2 or 4 or anything like that, which scenario would you rather be in? And what do you
Hmm.
think you'd like survive in?
I think 2, probably, because that's like the inception, right, of a lot of it.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and that's your highest probability of survivability. I would want to go to 7, just to meet Lady D, though.
You mean 8?
Or 8, sorry.
It's okay. 7 is just, I just call 7 Texas Chainsaw, essentially. Out in the bayou.
Guess I'll have to
That was
play
good to
Village.
see.
I'll probably have to play RE4 and then Village for the content.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're gonna play, I think Village, I don't know, 7 has crowd control. It's tougher, and then Village is like a follow up of 7. Mm.
Gato wants to meet Papa. I
Mm.
don't know who Papa is.
You'll find out if you play 7.
Either works. Alright. Alright, got those. This has been more in-depth horror with ChaosAkuma. If you guys want to hang out with Akuma and discuss more horror, her channel's pinned. You've got the stream together that has her channel. You just left click on her picture. There's no reason you can't follow and hang out with ChaosAkuma. So thank you so much for this, Akuma. This will be a YouTube video. So I will make sure to send those to you. I will also reach out to get some PNGs from you, some art, so that we can make thumbnails. But thank you. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me. Seriously,
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad, right?
It's cool to meet some people. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
to
good
see people.
interview. Yes, thank you, AR.
Mm.
Yeah, it wasn't as scary, right?
Take
A lot of people, the first time, they're like, oh god, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What is he gonna fight? They're all scared about it, but then they go through it and they're like, oh no, Gato's fun. It's a fun time. And then they're sad to leave, actually. Because
I am sad to leave, but I also need to get some food and stuff like that. And I was gonna do some more gaming, so I'm like, I need to order some dinner first. But
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun. And asking me about anything Resident Evil or Silent Hill, it's like I will not shut up. So I had to like control myself.
There you go, Gatos. If you want to go have more conversations, you know the channel. You know the channel, so. Alright, well thank you, Akuma.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh, I have one last question though. I do have one last question. And I check
Sure,
up.
what's up?
Can I check up on you in like 6 months to a year? And maybe you come back?
For
or-
sure. Oh yeah, absolutely. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's part of my interview content is like I want to have meaningful interviews and friendships. Like having 52 streamer friends because there's 52 weeks in a year isn't feasible in my opinion.
Of
So
course.
26, you know, trying to reach out to people twice a year, it's more doable. It's definitely more reachable. So I'll consider you a friend. I will keep lurking in your community, keep joining you when I can, and being a part of your community. And yeah, I'd love to have you back in 6 months to a year.
Oh my
Fucking
gosh,
us
same with you
perpetually.
though too. Because I'm 6 months from now, who knows? You could be a huge Resident Evil and Silent Hill buff, and we get to talk shop together. It'd be
maybe.
awesome.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And also I do interviews every Sunday, so if any of you Chaos crew enjoyed this interview, come back. There'll always be an interview. You guys learn more about different streamers, so I appreciate you sharing your community with me.
For sure. Chaos Crew is a wonderful bunch, and I'm happy to meet the new Gatos as well. So thank you for tonight.
Alright. Everyone say bye. Bye. Akama, thank you.